start. Just gonna hit the record button, and I think we're about ready to start. So, before we actually start and read Atlantonites, we might as well, just set the stage on what we're about to read tonight. Essentially, Atlantonite was a collaborative novel that was created in 2004 by a group of science fiction and fantasy authors with the purpose of making a piece of work that was unpublishedly bad just in order to see if PublishAmerica will accept it. And by the way, it was accepted. But then the people who actually wrote this actually were like, no, I'm sorry, but we totally hoaxed you. That was garbage. Why did you even think that this was worthy of publishing? So the reasons behind all of this, well, you see, PublishAmerica had a claim as a publisher that they will only accept high quality manuscript, but they actually wanted to see if they will accept such writing. And also it did not help that PublishAmerica actually were lambasting fantasy and sci-fi circles a whole lot with quotes like, science fictions and fantasy writers have it easier. It's unfair, but such is life. As a rule of thumb, the quality bar for sci-fi and fantasy is a lot lower than for all other fiction. Therefore, beware of published authors who are self-crowned writing experts. When they tell you what to do and not to do in getting your book published, always ask them first what genre they write. If it's sci-fi or fantasy, run. They have no clue about what it is to write real-life story and how to find them at home. Unless you are a sci-fi or fantasy author yourself. So yeah, in that mindset ended up being created Atlantonites, which was directed by a whole lot of sci-fi and fantasy authors under the direction of James D. MacDonald. And most authors just ended up having one paragraph, well, not one paragraph, but one chapter to write. And the whole goal was to make something that seemed like a real-life novel, but if you started to dig relatively deep, or not even that deep, it's just like it doesn't take long in order to see that this book is awful.
It is on a surface level, I can tell it's completely fucking ironic and absolute garbage.
Yep. But hey, somehow it got accepted, and nowadays, if you want to, well, the whole transcript is available for free, so if you wanted to view this for free, you could totally do that. The link to the whole transcript is available on Atlantonite's Wikipedia page, but you can also buy the book on the publisher Lulu, where all of the profits and everything will go to the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America Emergency Medical Fund. So yeah, without any further ado, how about that we play or read some Atlantonites? Yep, 71,503 words. With that said, we're not gonna read the entire novel tonight.
Why?
Well, eventually my voice is gonna need a break, so hey.
He can only handle so much of this beautiful beast born of spite.
Yep.
But are you doing different voices for every single character?
I don't know.
Coward.
I feel like I will denature the
Also, once again, chat, please appreciate this formatting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Alright, so anyway, let's begin, shall we? Chapter 1. Pain. Whispering voices. Pain. Pain, pain, pain. New pain? What are they sticking in me? Sleep. Pain. Whispering voices. As you know, Nurse Eastman, the government spooks controlling this hospital will not permit me to give this patient the care I think he needs. Yes, doctor. The voice was breathy, sweet, so sweet and sexy.
Damn straight.
Just who is the narrator at that point? Just like, I'm sorry, but you are a pervert. We will therefore just monitor his sighing. Serious trauma like this patient suffered requires extra care, but the rich patsies controlling the hospital will make certain I cannot try any of my new treatment on him. Yes, doctor. That voice was so sexy.
Gonna
Took
pop a stiffy in my
took
sleep.
2 lines of hers before you gave up. I was like, yes, doctor.
Yep. Bruce didn't care about treatments. He cared about pain. And he cared about that voice because when he heard the voice, the pain went away. Just for a few seconds. Like. Also, yeah, by the way, if you just noticed, the narrator here just changed because it was just... At first, it seemed like it was gonna be first-person narration. Now it's external for no reason. Report to me if there is any change, the man's voice said. Wait, hold on. Wasn't there the name... okay, no, there's not the name of the doctor. Just the name of the nurse. Report to me if there is any change, the man's voice said. Yes, Dr. Nance, said the sexy voice.
So erotic.
Yep. The door closed, and Bruce heard breathing and smelled the enticing smell of Smell the smell of shampoo and perfume. It was channel number 5.
Channel
Has
number,
really strong shampoo.
Yeah.
channel number 5.
Yeah, totally. The epitome of
Okay.
sexiness. He opened his eyes.
Eh.
All he saw was the roundest, firmest pair of tittles he'd ever seen in his life, all enclosed in a crisp white nurse uniform. I'm in heaven, he said. No, he tried to say, but his voice wouldn't work. His mouth was dry, and there was some terrible tube thing in his nose. And hey, what's that thing in his dick? It hurts! The tits bounced like Hunt Hallis molded jello back at home, and then moved away. Oh, she was just straightening the covers on the bed. Bruce realized he laid in a bed, his left arm being strapped down, with something sticking an up a tube on the top of his hand. Wait,
Up a tube.
an upper tube, okay. I didn't even think that was an actual word for
It's not. I'm making it up too.
Okay. Alright.
Wait, you took that for granted and you still said channel number 5?
Tittles.
Yep. Bruce
Well,
looked
that is what it said.
But yeah, Bruce looked up. The tits belonged to a beautiful face carved out of ice and whipped cream. With a pair of glowing emerald eyes.
Behold this face upon the tits.
Remember Legends of the Hidden Temple? It kind of looked like that.
Around that perfect face was brown hair, like one of those supermodels, all puffed up. Oh, you're awake, Mr. Lucent, said the sexy nurse. Bruce worked his lip, but couldn't speak. Well, Mr. Lucent, the sexy voice went on, you're probably wondering what you're doing here, honey child.
Honey child.
That's some good shit right there.
You realize the voice had the accent of a sexy southern peach.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah, that was definitely the voice I was going with here.
Millions of peaches. Peaches for free.
You were in a auto accident, Mr. Lucent, but don't worry, you'll be just fine. This here's the finest hospital in Atlanta, and you are in the care of the finest doctor, Dr. Archer
Go back
Eastman.
to the old voice.
Well, I was doing the sexy southern peach here.
Well, here is the finest hospital in Atlanta. That's what you were doing.
No, it was incredibly erotic. You don't understand.
Yeah,
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm just saying that's what it was.
Yeah, I'm just sorry that you're just so hard to turn on. Bruce
Are you
tried
calling
to
me easy?
Yeah, Bruce tried to speak, but just moaned. Now, is there anything I can get you? Nurse Eastman asked, moving around to the other sides of the bed and fluffing the pillow.
You're slowly turning into Wario.
Ah, can I do anything for you, my dear?
Yeah, exactly.
Bruce wanted to feel those titties. That was
what he
what he
wanted.
wanted.
That was what he wanted.
Yep.
Not tittles? What the fuck?
Yep. I guess we're just gonna switch all of the possible narratives.
No, the anesthetic's wearing off. He's getting words right now.
Yep.
Just want to funnel them jubblies.
Not that he could do much else, he realized. Everything hurt, right down to that thing. Whatever it was in his dick.
Does he not know what a catheter is?
I don't think he does.
What is this thing in my dick? Sykes drowning.
Oh my
I
god.
believe Sykes gonna die.
There's water everywhere. Oh my god.
Zach, you were in a Twitch stream accident!
But yeah, I don't
Watch
know.
Syke die live on stream.
I guess that the doctor and the nurse are related somewhat. Maybe this is how.
Yeah, I think that's the point.
Yep.
Or there's just two Eastmans.
Okay, alright.
Nope, they're clearly married. Forbidden fruit.
I can't believe we got people in the chat yelling psych in a reading streak.
He said. Nurse Eastman's eyes lit up like Christmas tree lights. Now you're talking. Oh, she gave a girlish giggle. You're recovering just fine. I have to go tell Dr. Eastman right away. Wait.
Tell me if there's gold in them Dar Hills in that voice, psych.
Wait, he grated. She paused, giggling again. A frightened giggle now. A childish giggle. As though a little girl on Halloween going door to door, instead of seeing a paper Mackey witch or goblin, suddenly was grabbed by... What is this train wreck of a sentence?
What's
It's
wrong
an
with Paper
analogy.
Mackey? Haven't you
It's
ever
an
made Paper
analogy.
Mackey?
No, I mean... Alright, let's read this again, just in order to feel the
I think
flow
it makes
of this
perfect
phrase.
sense.
Yeah, I don't see the problem.
It
That's
actually
no-
makes perfect sense if he'd spelled mache right.
No, that's not the thing that's tripping me up. It's the way the whole phrase flows. Just as though a little girl on Halloween going door to door, instead of seeing a paper mache witch or goblin, suddenly was grabbed by the real thing.
I don't know. I think it works perfectly.
Yeah. Like if you added like she was at the start of the sentence, it would make more sense. Still,
That
we
is
know what it
that
means.
is the fix I would make. Yeah, sure.
Alright, I don't
Name one other thing.
Only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to trip you up by only asking for one.
You son of a bitch! How dare you?
I don't remember, Bruce croaked. I don't remember! No, she said, shaking her head vehemently. You don't remember a thing. Now you just rest. She went to the door, her hips swing like palm trees in an Hawaiian hurricane.
Ah,
Yeah.
Just like... I'm just
an
trying
incredibly
It was impressive.
exaggerated strut.
It was aggressive.
to... I almost wish I had my webcam now. Bruce lied there.
Every shake.
Put it on.
Nah, but I don't think it's plugged, unfortunately. That's a problem.
Well, plug it in.
Yeah, but it's gonna require effort. Alright. Bruce lied there in the bed, trying to recover his memory. All he could remember was the screeching of tires, like a steam engine gone crazy. And then there was just all that pain. Hell. Hell on wheel. That's what it was. Yeses. Hell on wheel. While outside the door, Nurse Eastman leaned against the wall, her breasts rising and falling with passion as she tried to control her gasps. Oh no,
Yeah.
she thought. How could it be? Oh, out of all the hospitals in Georgia, they will bring him here. She raised shaking fingers and outlined the shape of her lips, moaning softly as she remembered the one day she'd met Bruce Lucent. The single day at the high school prom. She'd gone with her cousin to please their parent, since his dad got sick and he had rented his stocks and everything, even though she was in nursing college. Enchantment Under the Sea it was called. She could remember it if it was yesterday. Their eye met across the room, locked, held, molding passionately.
Those were really short pauses for those ellipses. So
Yeah. It was a gaze.
I was expecting like 2 minutes each.
It was a gaze of molten heat. A supernova of total lust. Even though he was only 17 and she was 23.
Gross.
It was only a matter of time before she ditched her cousin and Bruce ditched his date, and they found themselves in the back of Bruce's Chevy. She moaned, writhing in memory, until a voice splintered, shattered, pierced her memory. Nurse Eastman! It was a head nurse. Her warty nose quivered, her eye blazed with suspicion. The old bag. She wouldn't know what true love really was. What?
I can't believe the head nurse is a literal witch.
Yeah, what the?
And also, she fucked a minor.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Margaret Eastman smiled. I just had a cramp. If you're sick, you may be excused from your shift. The head nurse opined.
Open
Oh,
aid.
hi. Yeah. Okay, but why did her voice
There's
drop
enough-
a few octaves?
I said there's enough.
No, that's the
well,
head
no,
nurse.
the head nurse.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the head nurse.
Yeah, no, why did the head nurses drop?
Because
I don't know.
I will be fine. But I promise Dr. Nance I will. Wait, but it was Dr. Eastman earlier.
No, Dr. Nance was in that fucking room to begin
Yeah.
But
I think.
There's
But I
multiple
promise
characters.
Dr. Nance I will let him know when his patient woke up. Margaret gritted and ran away before the head nurse could stop her, her high heels clattering on the floor like the death knell of dooms. Okay.
Those are some powerful fucking heels. Holy shit.
Yep. Dr. Archer Nance looked up when the nurse entered the room. Archer had always been the brightest star at school from a very early age. He was always elected class president in grammar school, middle school, and high school. One of these do not fit in this list.
Okay,
who
but I
goes to middle
appreciate
school?
that they have confirmed his last name keeps changing.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
He was class valedictorian at his graduation, and when a lot of his friends went to mechanic school or junior college to mess around with business, he went straight to the university medical school. Also, we're getting all these biographies because that's how real literature work.
Okay, but
Jeez.
better yet, we're getting his biography before we even meet him.
Yep, that too. Just like at this point, this will just be like if we had a movie and one character was walked in and suddenly everyone will just go, "Oh dear, it's that certain person," and everything. They were head of the class when they was 13 years old, and then when they were 15, they stole $2 from their little brother and used it in order to buy a Kit Kat. But then Archer.
Read the book, son.
Yeah. But there Archer. All right.
Yeah.
But there Archer ran into something far worse than tough teachers or tough grades. Prejudice. Yes, prejudice.
Prejudice nuts.
Hey!
Oh dear. I feel
If
like
you
we have...
pronounced it right, then I wouldn't have done that.
Oh. Not race, but class. All the snubs from the wealthy families laughed at him for his accent, and when he tried to join the most popular fraternities on campus, they hazed him without letting him know until too late that he will never join. A cult,
What
maybe?
accent?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
never said. I guess that's the accent of the poor people.
Ah, the poor accent, not like those posh
Yeah.
fuckers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Archer got his medical degree, but he became embittered against rich people and politicians. And anyone in history is already there.
Eat the
These
rich.
commas do not fit there.
Eat the rich.
Wherever he went, he was sure there was some conspiracy against him by those in authority. He was sure of it when he didn't get hired to any private hospitals or to a lucrative practice among the rich, doing fat removal and facelift for 25 grand apiece. No, he could only get a job in this hellhole, where every night the ambulance brought in drugs and suicides and crazily homeless and the battered wrecks the EMT scraped off the freeways.
He knows that you could like get a residency in plastic surgery, right?
But don't forget the
That's
crazy
our
homeless drunk suicides and battered wrecks. It's very
Yeah.
important.
Yep. Like this Lucent jerk.
Yeah, he was scraped off the freeway.
I guess.
Yeah, battered wreck.
Yeah.
Archer was sitting there brooding about all these hills when her seaman came into the doctor room. Is my patient awake?
What
Yes.
kind of accent is that?
Well, that's the kind of accent that
They
gets
made a
you
big
born-
deal about him having an accent, and that's all you could do.
Okay, fine. Yes, she said, and then she wiped her eyes and throatily whispered, Doctor, I have to request that you excuse me from attending to this patient.
Totally.
Request denied, Dr. Nance said curtly.
All right,
I
Sean
will
Connery.
not have one of those braided spies who work for the...
I feel like there's a specific reason he didn't get hired anywhere. And it wasn't his accent.
I will not have one of those braided spies who work for the hospital trustees killing my patient. I'll go see ye now. He stormed out of the room. What the fuck is this? Margaret leaned against the wall and wept a sorrowing flood-like of tears.
Blood-like of tears.
Blood like of tears.
Yep. Yeah, he stormed and he stormed out again. She knew Bruce will emerge from the fog of the painkillers and he will recognize her. What if he told someone about that night at the prom? Who fucking cares? My God.
Just gonna tell the doc about this one
Yeah.
time he fucked that nurse.
Yep. Well, you see, I was 17, the nurse was 23, but I was perfectly happy about it
Actually,
because
you know what? I've realized why she's afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. All her life, Margaret had worked hard. Harder than anyone else. Her sisters, all of them far more beautiful than she, had coasted through life like a toboggan down the snow hell of a life.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good metaphor, though.
That's a great metaphor.
Yeah, what the fuck is with all of these?
Oh, it's a simile technically, but whatever.
But Margaret
whatever.
had a vision at an early age, and she knew she was meant to be a nurse. Her mother had scorned her. Her father had laughed at her. So she put herself through nursing school by waiting tables at a low dive at night. 5 long years she toiled, with never a day off. Not even at Christmas, just so she could walk out with her head held high and her degree in her hand. Once, just once, she had strayed from the path of hard work. Just once, she'd let herself relax, do her cousin Ted a favor, go as his date to the prom. Well, she'd learned her lesson, she thought. She never thought she'd see Bruce Lucent again, but now, here, the cruelty of the fates laughed at her, just like her family. Bruce Lucent was here, helpless, in her hospital, and it was only a matter of time before he remembered who she was. And what would he do then? She wept even harder.
Boo-hoo.
Alright, does somebody want actually a turn at reading this?
I'll do it.
Alright. I posted a link, by the way, onto the Discord.
No, yeah, I'm reading along. Trust me.
Perfect.
At this end, Bruce is gonna be Jala. That's all I can say.
Yeah, because now he's gonna speak.
I mean, you never actually gave him. Okay, fucking. I just have to remember all the fucking accents you gave people.
He didn't.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Except for that one character.
Chapter 2. The Atlanta sun slanted low in the west, rain showers predicted for later that afternoon, then clearing. Bruce Lucent looked from the side window of his friend's shiny Maserati sports car as they wheeled away westward against the afternoon traffic. I'm glad you could give me a ride, Bruce Lucent muttered, his pain-worn face reddened by the yellow sunlight. But with my new car smashed and all. His old friend Isadore shook his massive head at him. We know how it must be to have a lot of money but no work car, he said. The harsh Macon County drawl of his voice softened by years in the Atlanta high society. It's my pleasure to bring you back to your fancy apartment, and we're all so happy that y'all are still alive. This is actually a pretty good accent for y'all could have been killed in that dreadful wreck. See, I know how to do this, psych. Fuck you.
Why is everyone southern? Atlanta's not in
Georgia. What do you mean Atlanta's not in the South?
I thought it was northern.
No, it's out on the ocean. It got sunk.
It's
I guess.
Isadore paused to put. How do you pronounce it? Is it Isadore? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
Who cares? It hasn't
put on the
mattered so
turn
far.
signal before making the safe turn across rush hour traffic into the parking lot of Bruce Lucent's luxury apartment building. Y'all will get a new car on Monday.
Wait, y'all.
Y'all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
you all
actually
will.
they would actually say that though.
Wait,
It's not even-
y'all.
Y'all.
Yeah, it also works. It's you all will.
I don't know how I'll be able to drive it with my arm in a cast. Bruce Lucent shoots back. It's lucky I wasn't killed outright like so many people are when they have horrid automobile wreck.
Yeah, horrid. They're all horrid.
Fortunately, fast and efficient emergency medical services based on a program founded by Lyndon Baines Johnson, the 36th president of the United States, helped y'all survive the wise crash.
This man really loves LBJ. Holy shit.
What in the fucking... Well, I'm proud in order to do this fine advertising about our good healthcare system.
I mean, I feel like he wasn't as popular in Georgia as he could have been for the... whatever. I don't feel very fortunate, Bruce complained as his friend helped him from the low-slung red car. I heard all over, and I don't remember a thing after I left that bar over on Martin Avenue. I wouldn't be surprised if police didn't want to talk to me about what happened. Not that I could help them, because I don't remember anything. He added as an afterthought.
I'm not guilty.
Isadore pulled the collapsible wheelchair that he'd bought at St. Irene's Hospital from the open trunk of his new Maserati and unfolded it on the curb beside where Bruce painfully stood, his recent ordeal only recently over. This reminds me of that Garfield fan fiction. Thorpo knows the one. He helped his chum sit in the new wheelchair and then pushed it rapidly toward the gleaming doors of the high-rise tower. The soft southern breeze blew the sweet scent of magnolias over them as he said, "This is certainly something new for me. Never say that," he replied. Isadore shook his head, his red ponytail flipping in the soft breeze as he wheeled his best friend into the lobby, past the uniformed security guard named Amos, who saluted them, and into the elevator to the 14th floor of the luxury high-rise apartment building recently built in downtown Atlanta.
Why do we have to name the fucking security guard?
Oh, well, I mean, the longtime security guard saluted the pair as they passed. What lucky people, he thought, so young and rich, they can afford to live here. Not like me. I have to live across town and wear a uniform and salute the young rich kids who make more money in a minute than I can make in my whole life.
Tell me more of your backstory.
That's why we needed to know his name.
I guess.
Bruce thought that the dark elevator walls were closing in on him, and despite the chill in the air-conditioned air, he could still smell the flower smells from outside. The upward elevator started slowly into motion, as if it was reluctance to climb the hundreds of feet. Hurry up! Yeah. Bruce pounded on the arm of his recently acquired wheelchair as his friend asked, "Bruce, what's the matter? Is y'all so impatient to get home that the elevator's too slow for you? Imagine if y'all had to take the emergency stairs in your condition. He chuckled. The emergency stairs. That's good. Bruce glared at his friend who stood behind him in the wheelchair as the elevator hissed to a halt on the 14th floor, the dark paneled doors sliding open with the sound of well-oiled machinery. And then he was pushed by his friend out into the hall and down the door labeled 1414, his apartment door. Bruce searched his pockets for the key that he knew he did not have. Damn it, he said, and then, they kept everything, even my wallet at the hospital. How am I going to get it? Isidore knocked once at the door, and then it once swung open.
And then it at once.
It at once swung open.
Okay,
The
but just keep going.
So the stunning vision inside, an echo of pulchritude in a bright red dress, seemed to take their breath away. It was Penelope Urbane, Bruce Lucent's longtime and very beautiful girlfriends.
Okay,
Penelope-
we're friends with a hiss, by the way.
Yes. Penelope, who had walked in the door of Lucent Software asking for a job, and the good thing is being that she did, because he had one for her, a position, so to speak, that only a beautiful woman could fulfill, and she fit the role perfectly as the beautiful girlfriend for those social occasions when he needed to appear on the front page of the newspaper with a beautiful woman on his arm. Everyone
What the
looked and
fuck
thought he
was that
lucky.
sentence?
Everyone looked and thought he was lucky, but it wasn't just luck. It was planning that he fell in love with this beautiful woman and her with him. He gave her his glance, and she gave him hers. Bruce looked at her and whistled, thanking whatever God was listening that the auto accident that he had apparently been in had spared his family jewels, for he wasn't one to put to pasture his rampant desire for a stunning young woman, at least not yet. I need to read this fucking slower. He snapped his fingers and snarled, "Take me inside at the door, or you're fired from my software company."
What the fuck?
He gotta get his fuck on. It's very simple. Now please tell me about her boobs.
Wait, something like anger stirred in Isidore's breast. Yet Isidore laughed at Bruce's favorite joke as he pushed the millionaire software developer, indoctrinated by new agers, into the stunning studio apartment that he had rented as this exclusive high-rise tower. The walls were white, as was the carpet. The walls met the ceiling at right angles, while the mirrors and gold frames studded the walls. Important. Now, I have a picture painted in my head now.
That looks like the worst apartment ever.
The box.
The box. But there were glistening mirrors and gold frames studding the walls. Penelope Urbane had been a poor girl, she knew. Though she pretended to have grown up rich and happy in the suburbs of Atlanta, it was all a lie. Now she looked into one of the many mirrors that studded the walls of her boyfriend Bruce's apartment and liked what she saw. Two hazel eyes with perky eyebrows. Red like the color of her head. In other places.
Look, she's a redhead. It's very simple.
Red like the hair of her head.
Red like the hair of her head in other places, met her smoky gaze in the mirror.
I'm sorry? Wait,
She
what?
Shut up. She smoothed the hair back from her elfin ears.
Wait.
Elfin
Hair.
ears.
Elfin ear?
Elfin ears, making it tumble down her back past her shoulders, broad but not too broad enough to support the luxurious breasts that filled the front of her scarlet sundress.
There we
Glowing in the
go.
afternoon sun, the hot Georgia orb of fire that came through the window as she admired her trim shape and flat tummy in the mirror. She looked, she thought, like the bad girl heroine of a tawdry romance novel.
Is that too on the nose? I think that's too on the nose.
Probably. The expensive shoes she wore, high heels that matched her tight dress and set off her red hair, were delicately shaped by the stiletto heels and sharp toes. The lift they gave curving her creamy calves and making her rounded bottom move like a semaphore of love as she walked past. I like that, actually. I like
why
that
is the
quite-
narrator such a
That's good.
fucking pervert?
I like a semaphore
Because
of
it's
love.
a joke on how, like, a lot of men write that
Yeah.
kind of shit.
Walked past the frame mirror that she had been looking at. Her hazel eyes sparkled as she took in the sight of her newly returned boyfriend in the wheeled chair that marked him some disabled person.
Marked him some disabled person, you know.
Yeah. Oh, good. She's talking.
Would you like a drink?
Haven't you seen the Waluigi's taco stand video? That's the only voice I can do.
Well, it's a good one.
Penelope offered her recently returned bow as his friend pushed him in front of the widescreen TV that dominated the west wall without making it seem overpowering. Damn it, yes! Bruce Lucid repeated, looking at this vision of feminine lust on 2 feet. I've been in the lousy hospital, and they don't let you have a little drink there, he opined. Then I want to get to my new computer so I can check on my hot stock options and write more on my best-selling software development. I've wasted too much time locked in that smelly hospital. It's full of sick people.
It's full of sick?
People.
Yeah, sick people.
Yeah. The hospital is full of sick, dear people.
Yeah. Penelope,
Hey, all y'all, it's full of sick.
It's full of sick. This is sick. People. Penelope
He was
and
addressing
Isidore
Penelope
looked
and
at
Isidore.
each other. Yeah, as only two redheads can look at each other. What? I
Okay,
didn't know
so
Isidore
Telepathic
is red.
communication.
Everyone is redheaded in this. I've noticed.
Yes.
As Bruce delivered himself of his compliment, or of this comment rather.
Then let me fix you something nice with expensive vodka and gin.
Penelope giggled as she went to the kitchen to make ice cubes.
The vision of feminine lust on 2 feet.
Like a semaphore of love. When she was young, she had been called Penny, but now she was worth a lot more, she mused, as she busied herself at the full bar that filled the west wall beside the television set that Bruce had bought with the first proceeds of his award-winning mutual software. He often went on the modern internet to make his money.
The modern internet, not computer.
The modern internet,
one.
not that AOL bullshit, Torpo. Okay.
Okay, my favorite part is how they have to remind you, like, at every sentence that his software has won awards.
I mean, really, they're just trying to show you how the room looks, and you need to be constantly reminded of that.
Yep.
And when Isidore's gone, I can greet you properly.
Penelope whispered as she handed the old-fashioned to Bruce in his chrome wheelchair. She looked significantly at Bruce's tanned, lean frame as she handed him the crystal glass. Yeah, Bruce responded. What's he still doing here?
Yeah.
He turned to his old friend and pointed out, why don't you go park the car? My old car has crashed, you know.
Why don't you?
Why don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, Bruce, Isidore smirked as he turned, knowing what kind of scene of wild debauchery was about to be enacted in that very room, because he had known it for himself firsthand during the long week Bruce Lucent had been in the hospital. Ooh.
I knew they were gonna fuck real bad.
Yep.
I'll go park the car. He went down the sleek elevator that he had so shortly before ascended, wondering if Bruce was going to be the man he had been before losing consciousness in that horrible accident. Then the gleaming lobby doors were before him. He planned to take the Maserati. I can't fucking talk. He planned to take the Maserati out onto Peachtree Avenue in search of an empty parking place, as upstairs a miracle of love was performed by Penelope and Bruce, young lovers at the very height of their beauty, wealth, power, desire. Going down, Isidore Trent chuckled as he pushed the down button and laughing at his own joke. Had he but known what was to come, he would have been laughing out of the other side of his mouth.
So
No, you see, it's like it's a blowjob joke. You don't understand.
all right. So do you want chapter 3 to report? Or I keep going?
No.
All right, I'm going. Chapter 3.
As you've probably heard,
Yvonne, began Penelope Urbain, seriously
I'm glad
blushing.
I picked that voice.
Yep. Seriously brushing a gleaming scarlet tress out of her tearful eye.
Bruce has come home from the hospital after his accident.
Yes, you must be very happy, said Yvonne sympathetically. He was badly hurt in that auto accident.
Yes, he was badly hurt,
responded Penelope honestly.
but he is home now, and I am very happy about that.
Penelope.
We need to have a very serious
Penelope.
discussion about this, said Yvonne earnestly.
Yes, we have some very serious things to discuss,
agreed Penelope.
Your
Yvonne-
Penelope's a parrot.
Yvonne Perrin raised her glass and began to gulp down the martini she had ordered, and then she signaled the waiter to bring another one. Yvonne drank too much and did not eat right at all, and Penelope was starting to get worried about her friend's habit in eating and drinking. Her cheeks were almost as red as her hair. Yeah, everybody has red hair.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Like red, delicious apples under green leaves, which were her eyes and the dark pupils.
Yeah, her hair is
like
under her.
little curled
Yeah.
up caterpillars in the middle.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Also, why is delicious starts with a capital D?
Red delicious. It's a type of apple.
Also, shit formatting, buddy.
Like the red should start with a capital.
Yeah.
I like that. This
Yeah.
is what gets you. This is specifically what really makes you step back and go,
Look, Torpo, it's fucking tragedy.
I mean,
Yeah.
I more appreciate that her eyes are above her hair.
Let's not worry about that.
Yeah. Do you think it is a good idea to have another one, Yvonne? Interrogated Penelope. Yes, one more will not hurt me, and then I will quit, retorted Yvonne. They did not notice that Stephen Suffern was watching them secretly from his table.
Steven suffering.
Yeah, from his table across the dining room. They were at the Polo Club for lunch. The restaurant was a large room with a number of tables and some big windows looking out over the golf course and the lake. Both men and women and couples were eating lunch. Stephen Suffern was the best masseurs the club had ever had. After lunch, Yvonne might get a massage. She thought he was a stud, washing him across the room with rippling muscles like a bull and well hung too. She could see his pulsing manhood stuff into the tight, silky blue gym shorts he always wore at work. She thought she would have made an appointment for a massage. Stephen Suffern thought Penelope was a real looker, far too good for that stuffy software developer. Lucent who needed to work out once in a while and lose 50 pounds. Yeah, an excellent description here.
I'm just glad that they felt a need to describe the powerful chub this man's sporting.
Yep. He flexed his muscle and thought about the book he had just read, The Joy of Sex. It always surprised people that this athletic man was such a great reader, and he liked that.
A great reader reading The Joy of Sex.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and welcome to The Joy of Sex.
Oh
No.
god, no.
No. Bob Ross can't be in this book. His hair's not red.
Hello, ladies, said Stephen Suffern, passing their table. Hello, Stephen, purred Yvonne. She had a crush on the handsome masseurs at the Polo Club. But wouldn't it be masseur then? Because masseurs imply that it will be more like a girl or something. Oh well. Sometimes she saw him working out in the gym, and she was turned on by the sweat smell of his sweat. She could
Delicious stank.
Yep, she could not wait to think of a plan to try to get him into bed with her. Hello, Stephen, Penelope whispered softly. Do you have to work today? Maybe we could get a massage later, said Yvonne boldly. I only have room in my appointment book for one lady this afternoon, explained Stephen. Oh, this is all right. You go, Yvonne, said Penelope kindly. She knew her friend had a crush on Stephen, who was a real stud. I must get back to Bruce anyway. He needs me. Stephen would have liked to give her a massage, but he was stuck with her friend. Yvonne was too old for him. He stood up and walked past their table and flexed a bicep for effect. See you later, then, Yvonne, he said meaningfully. Yvonne watched him go by his muscles, pulsing and rippling like waves under a thin blanket of tan skin, like a freshly baked cinnamon cake.
Cinnamon?
Cinnamon.
Metaphor and metaphor and metaphor,
Cinnamon.
the Mobius strip that never ends. Penelope began to sip her mint julep.
I think he likes you, Ivan, said Penelope thoughtfully.
Why do you think that, Penelope? Asked Yvonne Urbain.
He always come over to talk to us when we are eating lunch at the Polo Club, exclaimed Penelope. He is cute, I think so too, but I have Bruce already. I think you are the main attraction here for him, not I, hissed Yvonne jealously. No, I am not, sued Penelope. Anyway, you can get a massage and have him to yourself. I will go home and take care of Bruce.
The waiter walked over to their table and brought another martini for Yvonne with a shot glass of extra vodka on the side. I did not order extra vodka, said Yvonne impatiently. She was mad from the conversation with her friend Penelope, who all the men seemed to be attracted to. Her cheeks were flaming red fires, like a volcano ready to explode through the cold emerald stone that were her eyes. She knew Penelope thought she drank too much. The waiter said, I'm sorry, miss, but we are out of cocktail onions and the chef sent this instead with his compliments. Yvonne Perrin stuck up and walked over to the waiter and took the shot glass full of vodka and poured it out in a planter that held a spindly rubber tree that never got enough light to grow properly, even though it was near one of the windows that look out onto the lake where some ducks were floating like they were waiting for someone to throw them some bread.
I'm glad we got the rubber tree's bio.
There at this time of day.
What was the tree's name?
Jeff. Tree's name is Jeff.
Can't believe the tree is a redhead.
Calm down! Ivan, people are staring at you, said Penelope worriedly. Do you feel okay?
She asked questioningly. You never understand how I feel, moaned Yvonne. I am just as good looking as you, but I am older. That is not fair. The men all go for you, and you have Bruce already. And I am afraid I will never find a man now that I'm getting old. Yvonne sipped her martini, which tasted like liquid ice on her tongue. It helped her feel calmer. She asked the waiter, What brand of vodka is in this drink? It is a French vodka imported specially for the Polo Club. Thinking that ought to impress her and picking up the empty glasses from their table. Do you want to order something to eat now?
Yes, I will have steak.
Oh yeah, liquid ice, that's right.
Okay, also, how old is older? Like,
I don't know. That's like they tell the biography of the trees, but then they don't tell how old the people
Hey,
are.
if there's one thing this story is consistent on, it's that fucking older people is not allowed.
Yep.
Yes, I will have steak,
said Penelope decisively. And I want it cooked rarely. I am a gourmet when it comes to beef, so tell the cook not to overcook it. Yes, ma'am, the waiter said smoothly. Anything else? He added.
French fries, and please bring the horseradish sauce. A Caesar salad for me with some blue cheese dressing.
Yvonne decided. I am watching my weight.
You dipping the fries in the horseradish?
I guess.
yeah, this is fucking heresy right here.
Jesus.
Leave room for the dessert. It is our chef special today. Today, yeah. Suggested the waiter. Yvonne could see the people at the next table eating chocolate cake. Everybody else had finished their lunch and gone now from the empty room. Yes, please, she said eagerly. She had gotten over her fit about the extra vodka. The waiter walked away. Now back to talking about Bruce, said Penelope Urbain, brushing a strand of red hair out of her eyes. I hope he will recover soon from his accident. Do not worry about that, exclaimed Yvonne. He is getting the finest medical care money can buy. And if the accident leaves a scar, he can go to a plastic surgeon and has it removed. I know a very good plastic surgeon in Atlanta. He did my nose for me last year, she argued. Penelope wiped a teardrop from the corner of her lovely almond-shaped eyes. I do not know what I will do without Bruce if something happened to him.
You say Stephen Suffern likes me, but I do not think I could go for a master's if something happened and Bruce dies.
What? Go for a what?
I don't know.
Masseuse.
No, a master's, clearly. Like,
Master.
did you not hear him?
Go for my master's degree if something happens to Bruce dies.
Yvonne Perrin got angry. You are a snub, Penelope Urban, she shouted angrily. The crowd of people eating in the restaurant at the Polo Club put down their knives and forks and stared at them. I am not, retorted Penelope in reply. You do not deserve the love of a man like Bruce Lucent. He is the absolute most eligible bachelors in Atlanta. And then another one is Stephen Suffern. Even
This
pointed
random
out
ass masseuse.
heatedly.
He's not a bachelor anymore if he's dating someone, I thought.
Yeah. We've been friends
see-
for a long time, Penelope said wistfully. I do not want us to fight over men. You are right, sighed Yvonne. Let us not talk about this again. Waving her hand to attract the waiter. I will pay for lunch today. The waiter stated, Yes, missus, what would you like? I would like the bill, said Yvonne firmly. That will be $134 plus tax, responded the waiter. Put it on my tab. I am a member of the Polo Club, said Yvonne grandly. Penelope knew she could not afford a bill like that, but she had her pride. She could not show her up before all the best society in Atlanta. She would never forgive her if she did. I will be glad to pay half, she offered gently, but her friend waved the money away and stood up and began to walk to the door. I will make up for it when I get that message from Stephen Suffern, she exclaimed. Stephen is a real stud, and I am looking forward to it, she added eagerly. Yvonne could not do anything more. She decided to go home and seize Bruce. But she was glad they had such a good discussion and cleared up things between them.
He's gonna seize him, all right.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what's really getting me caught up here.
Also, you read like 80 lines in her, and I still don't know what Yvonne's voice was supposed to be.
I don't know neither.
I mean, I just appreciate Yvonne's wild mood swings.
Yeah,
And also, I still don't understand what they mean by older.
Okay, I guess I'll take chapter 4 again then.
Alright.
Chapter 4.
Wait.
Andrew Venice. Oh, good, more characters.
Yeah.
Fucking
But did the chapter header format change?
yeah, it did.
Yeah, they change every
It's higher up on
every
the
time.
thing. Yeah. Andrew Venice parked his car on the street in front of the house and double-checked the address he had written down on a slip of paper. Yeah, this was the place, all right. It was an ordinary house on an ordinary street. There was nothing special about it, just plain. Nothing here looked like it might be connected to murder or assault or anything like that.
What?
Richard, yeah. What?
It's fine because they're
Is
just
this a
cooking.
different
Completely
novel?
No, he's just pointing out that nothing on the street looked like it'd be connected to murder or assault.
But what about meth?
He didn't say that.
Oh no.
Richard Isaacs, the man he'd come to interview, were a stock manipulator, and you'd think he'd live in a fancier place, a nicer house on a better street. But since he was also a police informant, maybe he wanted to keep a low profile, not do anything to stand out. Not exactly like the Witnesses Protection Program, but not all that different.
Wait, what?
Or maybe he just wasn't that good at manipulating stocks. Venice would try to find out, in addition to finding out what he really came here to talk about. Aren't you interviewing him?
I
Shouldn't
appreciate
you know what they're talking about?
I just appreciate how fucking meandering this plot is.
Yeah. He put the
Essentially
note
the-
on the. Go ahead.
No, but yeah, essentially the plot is that there's no plot.
Right. He put the note on the front seat and his sunglasses in the glove compartment, checking his reflection in the rearview mirror and smoothing back his hair. Turning 40 was hard. He didn't know what he planning to do at 40, but he was damn sure this wasn't it. Oh well. It was his job, and he was the one to do it.
It was
You better
his
get
job
going.
to turn 40.
He'd better get going, ask his questions, make his report. Then he'd have to stop by the gym later, work out a bit, fight off the ravages of time. He was still in his prime. Even if he had to work harder to maintain it.
Being 40 is destroying my body.
Fucking midlife crisis, the novel. Fuck, man.
Oh my god.
Does he even have any gray hairs? Actually, wait, what color is his hair?
We haven't found out yet.
Oh,
Um,
shit!
Let me
It's
guess,
probably
red.
I don't know.
Schrodinger's redhead.
Getting out of the car, he looked both ways, then shut the door and used the key fob to lock all the doors. It wasn't a bad neighborhood or anything like that, but he still didn't want to take any chances. He let a minivan go past, then an SUV. Then he walked around the front of his car and up the long sidewalk to the porch.
Let's watch the traffic before I do my interview.
Let's
and find off the
describe every
ravage.
little...
He's watching his back, okay? A bench sat on the porch. The kind you might sit on and drink some lemonade, but it didn't look used. Like nobody had had any lemonade to drink there for a while. Or maybe they just didn't like the porch or something.
What?
Isaacs probably had to keep a low profile anyway. He wasn't the kind of guy who spent a lot of time outside making friends with the neighbors. Then Venice went to knock on the door and stopped. There was a flyer lying on the welcome mat. No, it was one of those bags of advertisements they paid neighborhood kids to deliver, one of those circulars. There was a cardboard box full of them just off to the side of the door. He picked
What?
up the new one. Yeah, he keeps them. Safety. He picked up the new one and held it in his hand as he knocked on the door with his knuckles, loud enough so anyone inside could hear him, but not pounding or anything like that. Watching his reflection in the storm door, smoothing the lapels on his suit jacket so he'd be sure to look nice, the door opened. Richard Isaacs were the man who... Oh, God, they're going to start talking soon. Richard Isaacs were the man who opened the door. He looked over Venice, wondering who this guy was at his door and what he was doing here. Venice got into his pocket and pulled out his wallet, flipped it open to show hid badge.
Hi, my name is Andrew Venice.
He said cheerfully. Like, what?
Don't worry about it, keep going.
That's so
Like there was... What?
Don't worry about it, keep going.
Like there was nothing unusual with him showing up there in the middle of the day.
I'm here to ask you a few questions. It's no big deal.
That was just what Venice wanted him to think, Isaacs thought. They always said it was no big deal when they were trying to nail ya.
I found this lying outside on your door.
Andrew said.
You want it?
What was this guy trying to do? Be friendly to him? No, just to toss it there into the circular file. Isaacs pointed. Flying by night here, okay?
Richard Isaac, bad at stocks and bad at doing streams online.
Toss it into where?
That the box right there beside the door, he said, pointing to the box. He was getting mad,
It's not a circle, it's more of a square.
said Venice.
Or a rectangle, maybe.
Why are they arguing about this of all things?
It's a joke, all right? Now Isaacs was really, really mad. I put the circulars in the circular file. But that crazy Venice guy just offered it again.
You sure you don't want it? They got good deals inside. Could save you some money.
Just to throw it away. I wish the kids would stop delivering them,
Hey, listen.
said Venice, sticking his hands into his pockets.
I don't have all day here. I'm on an investigation. I came to ask you some important questions and I want some answers.
Okay, so you don't have all day, but you're sure going to spend the entire day just asking me, hey, are you sure you want your
I don't
good
think you
offer?
can go there. I don't think you can go there. That does actually sound very close to my Waluigi voice, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have to answer anything you ask, Richard Isaacs responded forcefully. He wanted to make a point. Are you going to stay out there on the porch and scare off all the neighbors, or are you going to come inside?
I'll come inside and ask you my questions there. I want to ask you about Margaret Eastman.
Isaacs knew he was going to be regretting this later, but he said, come on inside, anyway. Even though he didn't want the guy inside. But what were you going to do? That's what they expected from you once you got messed up with the police. But he didn't have to play their game. It's fucking CSI, fucking Atlanta.
Got messed up with the police.
Venice walked into the living room, not sure what. Yeah, he did. It's terrible. Venice walked into. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna make him Waluigi then. Okay, chat. Venice walked into the living room, not sure what to expect. Something about Isaacs didn't add up right. Either he was living in a plain house in this plain neighborhood because of frugality, because he was cheap, or there was some other reason. He couldn't He couldn't figure Isaacs out, like there was something he was hiding. Even though Venice knew he was in his mid-60s, he looked more like a tough guy than a stock market expert. He had broad shoulders and a narrow waist, muscular. His cheeks were ruddy, like he spent a lot of time outside in the sun and the wind.
Wait,
Damn
was
genetics.
his waist?
Why is he blaming
Muscular.
genetics?
I don't know. He's got a narrow waist, though, muscular.
Is his waist muscular? Is the waist what's muscular?
Yes. Some people didn't have to work for anything and had it all anyway. He didn't look like a guy who just turned 40 and needed Viagra to get it up anymore.
I'm
I was already
sorry.
here to feel. He didn't look like a guy who just turned 40 and needed Viagra to get it up anymore. What? What's the problem?
I think you have some
What's the problem?
underlying problems here.
Well then, Mr. Isaac, I don't have all day. Now, I cannot get it up without Viagra.
I can't
but
think about anything but boner pills. But Venice wasn't here to feel sorry for himself. He had a job to do, and it was time to do it. Isaac sat down in the brown reclining chair with a plop in front of the big screen TV, and he pointed to the couch. Why don't you sit down? He suggested, like a man who meant it. Venice wasn't going to let himself be pushed around that way by some informant.
I think I'll stand. This'll just take a few minutes.
So get started already. Isaacs would be glad when this interview was over so he could watch his football game. You follow the Falcons at all?
I'm not really a football fan.
Said Venice, though he split a pair of season tickets with his brother-in-law and went to half the games. He looked at the TV for a second, trying to spot Bill in the crowd. Bill
Who
was
the
married
fuck
to his
is
little...
Bill?
You're about to find out. Bill was married to his little sister Leslie. He adored Leslie. Bill was a great guy, just the kind of guy he'd rather be spending the afternoon with. He thought he'd sounded like some sort of wuss for saying that, so he added,
I think the West Coast offense really had to open things up for Vic, though. They should make the playoffs last year.
okay, so this takes place in the 2000s. We're learning things. Yeah, Isaac said passionately. He loved football. He didn't mind all the damn questions now so much. Not if this Venice character liked the Falcons. So, you wanted to ask me about somebody, some Marty.
Her name is Margaret Eastman.
Venice said. His veins turned to ice at the mention of her name. Things like that shouldn't happen to a young woman like her. Who is she? Isaacs asked. Oh, God. There's a new kid. Yeah, who is she? The door to the kitchen slammed open and in walked the most beautiful woman Venice had seen today, or maybe in a week. The more he looked at her, more he thought maybe in a lifetime, but he didn't have a whole lifetime of experience yet. But she was incredibly beautiful. Her eyes burst with curiosity, or maybe it was jealousy. She was older for a beautiful woman, maybe 40, maybe the exact same age as Venice. She was wearing a bra under her tight blouse, and she was wearing lipstick too, and he couldn't help staring at her. Her hair was pretty too, like it was just made out of silk, just that kind of shiny.
What about her pants?
I guess she wears no pants.
She might not have pants. Hey, Monica, we have some privacy to discuss business, said Isaacs. It's just a man talk, nothing good to be interested in. If it's another woman again, you bet I'm interested, she said, adjusting her breasts to make them stick out more.
Wait, what?
Well, I see you're 40. Do you need Viagra to get it up?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Adjusting her tits boobily.
Tittles jigglingly.
Yep.
Venice was still staring at her. He couldn't take his eyes off her, and she was looking at his eyes like she was touching herself for him to be pretty for him. He couldn't believe it. Neither can I.
Too bad he needs the Viagra.
I don't know who she is, Isaac said, and he was regretting I don't know who she is, Isaac said, and he was regretting inviting Venice into the house again.
You sure you don't know anything about her?
Monica stared at him with her lips making a little red pout. If I knew anything about her, you can bet I'd let you know. Oh, no, that was Monica. If you knew anything about her, you can bet I'd let you know. Why would she say that? Slapping Isaacs on top of his head. Ow! He said, grabbing the top of his head. He looked at Venice again and said, I said I don't know anything about her.
She was the nurse at the hospital where Bruce Lucent recovered from his automobile accident,
Venice said.
She's really beautiful, like you wouldn't believe. She has brown hair.
What?
But does she have red hair?
No, she has brown hair.
Okay.
No, that's everybody else who has red
Yeah.
hair.
She's magic. I know you like women with brown hair, you two-timing jerks, Monica said. She was hitting Isaacs on the top of his head again, and he jumped up and yelled, Stop that! They said they don't know anything, and I don't know her. I can show you pictures, Venice said. He had a lot of pictures of her, but he didn't want to share all of them, not with this scum. It might help your memory some. Listen, the body.
Are you a cop or are you a pervert?
Just
Both.
Venice in his
You
vast.
are not anywhere near mutually exclusive. Listen, the bodies, Isaac said. You came here, so you take what you get and then leave. I said I don't know anything. I don't know nothing. That's all it is to it. Why don't you take me? Monica purred at him. Hey, now, I don't like that. Hey, now, I don't like that, Isaac said. And now he was mad at all of them for ruining his day. He was mad enough to hurt somebody. He'd killed a man before one time with his bare hands, and he could do it again. If he put something in his bare hands like a knife or gun or something he could kill somebody with.
Okay, so not with his bare hands then.
No, with his bare hands.
No,
while
that one was
holding
with
a
his
gun.
bare hands. Now he needs a gun.
Yeah.
Older now.
Yeah.
Then his sense troubled ahead, but he wanted to see more of Monica. He had the sense, though, that they were just ships passing in the night, that she was just some temporary liaison of Richard Isaacs. Probably just another cheap tramp or something like all the others. Maybe she could be different, but it wasn't going to be in this lifetime, not with him. Well, if you don't know anything, I guess I'll be going, he said. Walking down the sidewalk, the car waited for him at the curb. He stopped before opening the door, and he looked back up at the house. He saw Isaac standing in the window frame looking back at him. Somebody was hiding here, but Venice knew he was a bulldog. He'd get to the bottom of it yet. And it didn't matter who got hurt along the way, because he was going to find out the answers.
But the answers to what?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
There's no... Fuck.
I still love that other guy could be living in that house because he's either cheap or frugal.
Yep.
Yeah. Either cheap or frugal or
Something else.
Yep.
hiding something.
Alright. Chapter 5. There she was, the pretty nurse Stephen had seen while he was visiting Bruce Lucent in the hospital. It had just been luck, because he'd stepped out of Bruce Hospital's room, thinking about Bruce's ass, a nice, tight ass, when he'd seen... But
Nice
wait,
tight ass.
so how did he see his ass then if he had, like, a fucking tube in his ass?
What a scene,
oh no, it is
man.
dick, I
Ooh-wee.
mean. Also take your ice cream fax machine for the bits.
Get that catheter out of my ass. Yeah. Yeah. I'll be right back.
Alright. I'll keep going in the meantime. It highlighted her ass and her other... Oh no, I skipped something. Her hospital uniform. So loose. So loose. Yeah, so loose, yep. I mean, I think this should be with 2 O's, but
No, it's loose.
Alright, on some of the nurses was tight on her. It highlighted her ass and her other assets too. Even loose green scrubs couldn't hide those breasts, spraining at the fabric like they wanted to breathe.
I'm sorry, does this person understand scrubs?
No! I don't think that in this novel anything is understood.
Tell me about your erotic scrubs.
Yep. Stephen licked his lips and rubbed his hands together. Women like his hands, they said. And man, he made more money than all the other messers at the Polo Club. Tips from people who appreciated his hands. Hey, he hissed, and got her attention. She looked him up and down, taking in how his shirt strained over his sculptured abs, how the front of his tight jeans bulged, how his hair hung sexily over his eyes. She smiled. Those sexy eyes sparkled, those rosy lips pouted. I saw you at the hospital, she said. You came to see Mr. Lucent. Excellent memory, he congratulated. He knew his smile, lit up dark brown his eyes, accented his tan cheekbones, like the rest of you. What? Excellent memory like the rest of you.
Yeah, her memory is excellent like the rest of her.
Okay. I mean...
It's just that giant bit in the middle fucks up the pacing.
Yeah. But even then, I don't know. I've never
Oh,
really
no, it could
seen
be
memory
phrased.
used as a flirting device. She blushed, and the warm rush of color colored her face and neck, and on down into her cleavage. His eyes followed where it led, and she saw him staring down her shirt. She seemed to like it. "Buy me a drink?" Bars this close to the hospital had people drinking to forget what horrible sicknesses their loved one has been sitting in them. They weren't very good places to start romances. So after one drink, Stephen queried, "Let's go somewhere else. This place is depressing."
"It's raining outside."
She moved closer to him, like he could keep her warm in the rain. "He'll keep you warm," he promised. That's what she wants to hear. She leaned closer on the bar stool. He looked around at the sad people with their drink, but no one met his eyes, so he leaned down and played with a piece of her sleek brown hair. "I'm Steven," he explained. After a little while, when she didn't say anything.
"Do you ever try to forget things, Stephen?"
the sexy nurse asked him. "All the time, but I didn't forget you. You are not forgettable." She turned her hair around and smiled at him. That smile made her look younger, like she was a teenager. It was pretty, with straight white teeth. She didn't wear much lipstick, but he liked it that way. Probably for her job.
Tell me about the pretty white teeth.
"I'm Margaret. I didn't forget you either, even though it was days ago at the hospitals. You are easy to remember."
He smiled lazily at her, glad that he worked out, because it must be his abs and his muscles that made him so easy to remember. Their faces got closer together. He was looking at her in the dim light from the bar, ignoring the jangling music. It was noisy in here, and stank of beer and other things he didn't want to think about. I don't like bars. They're too noisy, and there's other things that I don't even want to think about. So he thought about her, looking down at her like this. Her shirts gaped open more, and he could see the top of her bra. Those big jiggled breasts, so close to him. They were making his jeans uncomfortable.
Jiggle boobs!
"Let's forget what you want to Fuji, then," Stephen encouraged. She smiled a little bit, and those rosy red lips parted. Her teeth shone like perfect pearls in the dim light.
He really likes her teeth.
Yeah, I guess. He wanted to taste those lips. She closed her eyes and tipped her head back some more. That was his cue, he could tell. So he pushed his lips against hers. Her lips were warm and soft and tasted like breath mints. Is that really a good thing?
Incredibly erotic. You don't understand.
"Oh, baby, you just smell like Excel mental."
I could tell you were preparing for this moment, munching down breath mints.
Hey,
Yeah.
looks like you just subscribed.
Oh, thank you, Evil Crash, for the gifts up to 6
Congratulations.
penguin. Thank you so much. It was good. She sighed a little bit, and he thought she would pull away then, but she didn't. So he made the kiss better. He ran his tongue along those perfect teeth. The feeling made him more sure he wanted to get her out of this bar. "This isn't a very good place to kiss," he stated. "But it was a very good kiss," she exclaimed dreamily. He paid the bill, then put his sweater around Margaret's shoulder. "Wait here," he mentioned meaningfully. "I'll bring my car around." His Mieta, bright red like her lips, sparkled with raindrops like diamonds in the light of the street lights. Margaret giggled while he held the sweater over her head and led her out to the car. "Climb in, fair princess," he chuckled, holding the door open. Soon that sexy nurse was sitting close to him on his sculpted, dark blue velvet sofa. The level lamp glowed on her face. Blues made her look mysterious. Red shouted, "Sex!" Her eyes were deep pools of mystery. He put in a DVD that his last girlfriend had said was sexy. The music filled the room with drum beats like heartbeats, and a rhythm like to people humping.
That sounds terrifying, actually.
Let me give you a massage, he said. I give really good massage.
I'm waiting.
She turned her back to him, and he laid his back on that sexily slender neck. I need to pull your shirt up.
Mm-hmm.
He started to massage the tight muscles of her back. She was so tense, but he could fix that. A little oil, patchouli, down to her slender waist, then her voluptuous hips. Eased tension, and he could smell her reaction, even over the oil. Yes, she was ready. Turned her over, massaged those breasts, D cups at least, with his strident fingers. Did he take off her bra? Did she? And who undid her skirt? All he knew was that her muscles softened and her tension went away under his skilled fingers. And then her muscles tightened again as she pulled frantically at the zipper of his jeans.
Man, she is really easy.
Yeah. So much for remembering about Bruce Lucid.
No wonder why she was so afraid of Bruce. Jesus.
Yeah. That was when he pushed his finger into into her yielding brown hair and pulled her face to his. Their tongues met like wild beasts, their dance ageless and timeless. You have a hell of a body, she exclaimed into his mouth. So do you, he moaned, even if she was older than I. She was... What? What?
Okay, yeah, let's appreciate the fact that before he said he wasn't gonna bone older women.
Yeah, what the fuck? Oh my god, what the fuck? His raging manhood was bursting at the seams of his jeans, and so he undid the zipper she couldn't. She was moaning, lying on the soft velvet of the sofa,
My velvet sofa.
completely abandoned to his will. As they came together, he thought how much better this woman, who was experienced and sexy, and had been patting on all the right places, was to make love to. Then the teenagers who threw themselves at him for his body? What?
I'm sorry?
Okay, I'm sorry, Steven. You belong not in a club, whatever, but you belong in a jail. Just what the fuck? They writ together like wild beasts on the velvet, somehow moving to the deep shag on the floor. His hands, still oily, massaged her ass as he moved inside her.
You know, cleaning that carpet's gonna be fun.
What the fucking fuck?
Also, why was he doing an oil massage on his fucking velvet couch?
Just fuck you, what the hell? She panted against his chest. She breathed, getting more and more agitated. I'm so glad Worm is not here for this. Oh my god.
I'm so very...
Steven could tell she was really getting into this. He was turning her on, so he got faster and faster. And finally she screamed, Henry! And went limp underneath.
I have questions.
Oh my god.
Oh no, just keep reading, just keep reading.
Okay. Her wave of passion set off Steven, and her passion pumped him dry. She lay with her head on his chest, looking up into his eyes. The light from the lava lamp was purples and golds now. Purple and gold, the color of passion. Really?
Keep going, keep going.
The color of passion. It shone on her face, damp with sweat from their wild sex. The purple made her glazed brown hair look like some exotic African princess, naked and willing. After a few minutes, he started again. Steven was tired the next day because he and Margaret had made love more than one time. First in the living room, then in the bedroom, then in the bathroom, in the shower. Then he took her home, and they had held hands like little kids and kissed outside her door. He couldn't remember any woman or boy as hot as she was. None of those teenagers had ever been like this. He defiantly wanted to see her again.
Stop fucking teens.
Yeah, what the fuck is this guy's problem? He was giving a massage to one of the regulars at the polo club and a guy named Isaac Stevens. Steven wasn't interested in this. Steven wasn't interested in Stevens because the guy was too old. Beside that, he had Margaret on his mind, but he must have yawned one too many times. Wait, what was his voice again? Late night last night, wondered Stevens. His voice was kind of muffled by the table he was laying face down on. Oh yeah, Steven muttered dreamily. He wished it was Margaret's back he was massaging right now, or maybe somebody else he could get a quickie in with. Thinking about Margaret was making Stephen hard. She must have been something. She must have been something! Stephen guffawed wickedly.
Wait, Isaac Stevens, was that the 60-year-old?
Yeah. Or was it?
Yeah, that was Mario.
Oh yeah. She must have been a something! Stephen guffawed wickedly. Or was it a he? It was a girl. No, a woman. Not just any woman. The best I ever met. And to Stephen. Stevens wriggled on the massage table. It was probably getting hot, thinking about Stephen's night last night. Does she have a name, or are you keeping her all to yourself? You know those centerfolds of naughty nurses? I think they're all true. That's what she is, a nurse, at the Atlanta General Hospital, right across town. Stephen's views. Every time I ever went to the hospital, the nurses would hardly talk to me. Must it be? Probably. Stephen's mind was not on the conversation. It was on Margaret. He could tell she did like his abs and his ass, the way she had gripped it. Well, does she have a name? Stephen said one more time. Oh, yes, Margaret Eastman. He drew the name Margaret out like a kiss. Margaret. Okay, all right. We sure needed all of this empty space. Oh well, that's one less page. All right, hold on a bit. I need a water refill. Right back for chapter.
So, chat, how are you doing? How you doing today? Are you enjoying this tome of pure eroticism right here before you? This intensely deep story about some nurse who fucks anything with a pulse?
No, I don't know. Maybe you just read forward and knew what was incoming, and that's why he bailed. Chapter 6. Bruce rubbed the thick foam collar around his neck with his good hand. The stupid thing hitched badly, and he knew it looked darkies, but the surgeon had insisted that he must wear it constantly for the next month, or suffer the consequence. At least it kept his neck warm in the frigid hair conditioning in this restraint. He followed Isaac Stevens, who followed the waiter around past the side entrance and between... what is this fucking train wreck of a sentence?
No, keep going. It's really good.
And between tables and a booth at the back. Bruce stomped his cane down on a lady's foot at one of the table, and she swore at him. Damn stupid gimp! Whence watch out where yes going! With that damnable misbegotten war son stupid cane, you a damaged... What?
I think it's supposed to be idiot, but also... No. All of that is terrible.
Guy steals your old bat? He howled. Watch your old feet and keep him out of the way so I don't trip over them. Don't you know who I am? Give me any more trouble and I'll have your ass arrested so far your false teeth would pop out of your head. Why is he such a fucking asshole? 3 waiters hurried over. I'm so sorry, Mr. Lucent, they sniveled. One of them turned on the old lady and shouted, Back off, you! Back off, you! That's Mr. Lucent, and he owns half this town. Another waiter spoke up and yelled, Why, he owns more than half of this here Trotter's Corner, and that's a fact! They gathered around her and knock her out of her chair, then kick her a few times to teach
Jesus
her
fucking
lesson.
Christ, what is he, like a mob boss?
I guess. What the fuck? Bruce limped on after Stevens, leaving the waiters to handle the woman. It was stupid people like that who had inspired him to climb to the top. He didn't ever want to be stuck with riff-raff like that, so he had used the computer skills he had learned from cracking PlayStation games and writing viruses on the internet to build his company to a person that was today a giant among software development companies. Not bad for a guy just out of his teen.
Just writing fork bombs will teach you how to fucking start a company.
Yep. I wrote a virus, a fuckboy 107 for DOS, and now I'm a millionaire.
Okay, I said fork bombs, but okay. I did not say fuckboy.
He bumped another table with the cast on his leg, but the people there cringe. Sorry, Mr. Lucent, one declaimed. I hope that didn't hurt you. No, he offered magnanimously. I'm okay. He limped across to their booth and slid in across from Stevens. So what did you want me to talk about? Grumbled. Let's have a drink first and get to something to eat, shouted Isaac. That dumb old lady seemed to have upset you, so let's relax for a while and then we talk about business. So it's me fine, offered Bruce. He turned to the waiter. I'll have a Shirley Temple screwdriver with absolute vodka on the rocks. Yes, sir, exclaimed the waiters. And you, Mr. Stevens? Spaybirds on the rock with a little Pepsi. A good single malt needs a little sweetening. I prefer Mountain Dew with my single malts, quibbled Bruce. Or maybe prune juice. It's more natural somehow. My daughter Irene like it with a root beer, but she's a little weird, chuckled Stevens. He rubbed his pepper and salt beard, then brushed back his close trim hair. I heard about your accident at the Polo Club. Guess you're lucky to be alive. Henry Archer went off the road on the same curve a few nights later in his Humvee, but he didn't survive. The cops said somebody had dumped a bunch of used oil on the shoulder near there. That might have been what have got you and Henry. Colby, I was only doing 95, but I slid right off when I got there. Had to throw away the boxer shorts I was wearing. They were nice ones too, glowing the dark green with luscious red lips printed all over them. I miss those shorts.
Sounds like something a teen would buy.
Well, whenever you're a millionaire, you just buy whatever you want. He scratched at his crotch where the leg casts rub and itch. The waiter returned with their drinks. He set them down and then set a big foaming mug of beer in front of each other of them as well. Compliment of the house, sirs. Mr. Gronemon said you two looked a little thirsty. Great, said Isaac. Nothing like a cold frosty mug of heavy dog beer to go with my single malt. I'll show you the taste. What will you gentlemen have for lunch? Queried the waiter. Isaac rubbed his pepper and salt beard, then brushed back his close-trimmed hair. Let's start with pâté de foie gras and caviar with a basket of crackers to spread them on, Triscuit, Wedine, stuff like that, and some stuffed mushroom and truffle on the side, and a couple of triple-thick chocolate mocha latte to drink. He might be 50 now, but he could still peck it away. Nothing like a few good rounds of racquetball and polo wouldn't burn back off. Too bad Bruce was all knocked up.
I'm sorry.
That's because he's injured.
Oh, okay. Also, I still love that he had to specify a cracker brand, but everything else.
Yep. Bruce had such a studly body, rock zero hard abs, and massive shoulders from working out and weightlifting, but he was starting to get just a little pudgy since the accident. Isaac had seen him in the locker room at the gym. Kid was pretty well hung too. Probably had chicks throwing themselves at him all the time. He'd better stay away from Isaac's daughter, Hiram Stevens, though. Kid was making a lot of money with his software development company too, and Isaac wanted a piece of that. If he could buy his way in now, he might be sitting really pretty in a few more years.
I'd like some artichoke hearts and pickled eggs too, mused Bruce Lucent. And make sure there's plenty of whipped cream on my latte.
Yes, sir, exclaimed the waiter. He hurried off to do their bidding in the kitchen. Bruce rubbed his rock-hard abs.
I'm getting a little budgy with all this inactivity since the accident,
he mused. Oh, yeah, they kind of forgot about the putting the little symbols here.
I'll have to work really hard to get back in shape once I'm better. A good thing that shrapnel just nicked my tie rather than cutting a little higher, or I might be singing a little higher. Wouldn't want to disappoint the ladies.
The sunlight was very warm on his face and side from the window, and he wondered if he was going to start sweating. Fire and ice, he thought to himself. Too cold air conditioning and too hot suns. I'm being frozen on one side and roasted on the other. Yeah, that's exactly what you just said here. I'll be shivering. Can you please move on? I'll be shivering and sweating at the same time. Isaac will think I've got a fever. Fire and ice cream and jalapeno, ice water and steam.
Okay, what the fuck did I miss? Like, everyone in the chat's just fucking...
You missed the fucking first off.
Yep.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
What chapter are we on?
We're on chapter 6. Suffice to say,
Page 38.
Yep.
We're only on chapter 6.
Yeah, don't worry, we're not reading the whole thing tonight.
No, I just thought that I was gone longer than one chapter's worth.
Oh, I didn't even interrupt a whole lot, too.
Yep. It's just, let's just say chapter 5 was an experience.
Okay.
We discovered the other reason why Margaret is afraid of Bruce.
Yep.
Cock's way too big.
No, she is very easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. So, yeah, we were at a good thing that shrapnel just nicked my tie rather than cutting a little higher, or I might be singing a little higher. Wouldn't want to. Disappoint the ladies. Oh, yeah, that's right. No. Okay.
No, you were in the last paragraph. Don't worry.
Yeah. Alright.
I think you left off at I'll be shivering and sweating at the same time.
Yep. I'll be shivering and sweating at the same time. Isaac will think I've got a fever. Fire and ice cream and jalapeno, ice water and steam, cold and hot, freezing on one side and roasting on the other. He fled uncomfortable.
Yeah, he fled uncomfortable.
Like he had the flu and had a fever.
Also, I appreciate
how do
how
adverbs work.
your complete inability to pronounce jalapeno.
Well,
Jalapeno!
It's kind of chilly in there,
commiserated Isaac.
How come you look so hot? It's the sunlight, groaned Bruce. I'm boiling on one side and freezing on the other.
The waiter brought their appetizers and set them in front of him. More beer? It's on the house.
Sure,
quipped Bruce and Isaac together. The waiter refilled their mugs.
Hot enough for you?
Hot enough for you? He quipped.
Yes,
shivered Bruce.
I'm boiling on one side and freezing on the other.
Like fire and ice.
Yeah.
Try the cold beer, offered the waiter. That should help you cool down some.
He's freezing on one side. That's not gonna help.
Yeah, we just need a middling beer. Isaac rubbed his pepper and salt beard, then brushed back his close-trimmed hair.
Here's to further success with your company,
he enjoined. Bruce returned the toast, and they clanged their frosty mugs of dark beers together, then swilled large mouthfuls down.
Ah,
declaimed Bruce.
That was good. Cold.
They tucked into the appetizers. There was pâté de foie gras and caviar and stuffed mushroom and truffles and artichoke hearts and pickling and crackers, and they washed it all down with crust rolls and dark beard and foamy mug and cinder latte.
It's like some kid trying to talk to you. There's foie gras and caviar and stuffed mushrooms and truffles and artichoke hearts and pickled egg and crackers and beer.
Just like that was another train wreck of a sentence. How many times can you just say and?
Ah! exclaimed Bruce. That was really good. How about some real food now?
Oh,
Oh, yes, agreed Isaac. Some real food will really hit the spot now. Waiter, I'd like a half-pound of rare T-bone steak smothered in mushroom and onions, and a big potato with cheese and sour cream and bacon bits and steamed baby carrot and corn on the cob.
And artichokes and pickle hearts and crackers and stuffed mushrooms.
Yep. Yes, sir, exclaimed the waiter. And you, Mr. Lucen? I'll have a roasted chicken stuffed with truffle and cranberry dressing, a
An
baked
entire
potato
chicken?
with butter and sour cream, and a side of some baby back ribs.
An entire fucking chicken?
I guess. Yes, sir, he declaimed and hurried up to the kitchen. Bruce scratches his neck brace. Who was that babe I saw you with at the party last week? He simpered. Isaac rubbed his pepper and salt beard, then brushed back his close-trimmed hair.
I do appreciate that is like the 4th time they've used that sentence.
I swear that's more than 4 times.
Okay, maybe 5. I'm not quite sure.
That was my daughter, Irina Stevens. She came to the party with me. Your daughter? Inquired Bruce. Wow, she was really hot. I'd surely like to get her to know her better. Well, countered Isaac, that might be arranged, as long as things goes all right, you understand. Cool, quipped Bruce, who was feeling hot on one side and cold on the other. Fire and ice! Bruce wanted to get out all of those casts and things first, though, to get all his stitches out. Or maybe not. She might feel more compassionate toward him if she saw him this way first. That could lead to more passionate fun later. What a hot babe! You didn't even fucking... Oh my god.
What a hot babe.
He could hardly wait to see her with her clothes off. They'd start slow, maybe a game of strip poker or something classy like that.
Classy.
And
Classy!
Then, yeah. Well,
Classy people play strip blackjack.
Yeah. Well, house loses. I guess I better remove my cock brace.
What?
I don't know. At this
House loses. I guess I better remove my cock. Is he the house?
I
I guess.
Yeah.
Also, house always wins.
Yeah. Well, not this time.
That's the rule.
Okay. And once they were ready, they could go right for the brass ring. His slacks tightened, and he winced as one of his stitches pulled out. Bruce rubbed his throbbing crotch where the cast rubbed and the stitch had pulled out, and his pants were too tight now. So, he inquired, what did you want to talk about? Isaac rubbed his pepper and salt beard and brushed back his close-trimmed hair.
Hold on. If he's breaking stitches when he gets an erection, wasn't he fucking like 3 chapters ago?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he broke his penis in the accident.
Well, he was fucking 3 chapters ago.
Yeah, but see, he took off his pants by then. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, were the
I mean, he still
stitches
got
in his
them on.
pants? Is that...
Yeah.
Alright. Well,
Okay.
he countered, you've been very successful with your software company, and I'd like to talk about that. I really admire a successful man who makes a lot of money, and you're one, especially as young as you are. To be successful, yeah, to be successful, and making so much money, if you know what I mean. I admire that. Yes, agreed Bruce. I'm doing rather well, and I enjoy making money. Not the money so much as all the thing it can buy. All the wonderful things I could do with it. I own half of this town, Trotter's Corner, now, and someday I'd like to own half of Atlanta itself. First, I'm going to name this town, though. I'm going to name it Lucenville. Do you hear that, everyone? This town is now Lucenville, and someday Atlanta will be named Lucent City. Everybody cheered, and the waiter brought their food. More beer he carried. It's on the house. Sure, they quipped and dug into their food. Well, chewed Stevens around his steak and potatoes and onion and mushroom and corn on the cob, I'd like to invest in your company. I'd like to give you a lot of money so that I can have part of your company, and I'd introduce you to hiring it too. Bruce scratched at his neck brace. Well, he gobbled past his roast chicken and ribs, all in one sentence. That sounds quite decent of you. I think I'd like that. And I'm especially looking forward to getting to know Hiring Stevens better, if you know what I mean. Whoa, she was hot, fire and ice. They devoured their food and drank more toast from tall, foamy mouths.
No, actually, do the whole story in that.
I don't think I could. They devoured their food and drank more toast from tall, foamy mugs of ice-cold beer. To Lucenteville! To Lucent Software Development Corporation. Oh, no, that's right. To Lucentville. To Lucent Software Development Corp. To Hiram Stevens. To Life. Fire and Ice. At last, they finished their meal. Isaac rubbed his pepper and salt beard and brushed back his close-trimmed hair. Oh, how about some dessert? Inquired Isaac. Bruce rubbed his throbbing crotch where the cast rubbed against it, and his stitch had pulled out and his pants were swollen with lust. Dessert will be great, declaimed Bruce. I'm famished. Fire and ice.
Fire and ice.
Whoever did that chapter
Fire.
is genius.
Yes, that was the top 10 chapter whole story. I'm gonna guess. Okay, chapter 7. Who the fuck is Irene? Wasn't she a character already?
Oh no,
No.
Irene Stevens, the daughter of Isaac Stevens.
Oh, okay, so she hasn't been introduced yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Chapter 7. Margaret and Irene sat in silence for 32 minutes, each gathering their thoughts together, each afraid to say the first word, knowing that the first word could lead anywhere, including the truth. Irene signaled for a lot to... What?
The first word
looking
could
for the
lead
truth.
to the truth.
Oh, and Irene has blonde hair. This is...
Yeah, what is this fucking heresy?
Yeah.
Like, those two have the only non-red hair. Like, she's got brown hair, Irene's got blonde hair. It's amazing. Irene signaled for a latte with one hand and fingered her long blonde hair with the other, twisting it again and again until it spiraled like a golden staircase leading to the top of her head. When the pain started, she wept, expostulating. Expostulating?
Expostulating.
Expostulating, that's what it is.
I don't know what I'll do without Henry. He was the center of the world. Even the center of the world has to die sometime.
Margaret sat sideways on her chair, her breasts a pair of protruding alps.
What the fuck?
They're very, very pointy.
He didn't seem like the kind of man who died.
Irene said.
Sometimes when we're in bed making love at the very edge of the surf where the waves wash over us again and again, I looked at his face and saw something there that not even all the forces of erosion could ever wash away. He was a determined man.
What?
Slowly becoming a strong bat.
No, this is Senor Card Gauge. I'm straight up doing Senor Card Gauge.
Okay, yeah.
He was a determined man, and his position had to be, and I knew that too, looking up at him, waiting only for him to be there forever. He was old, you know. He was around in the 70s.
Fucking ancient.
Fucking ancient.
I'm gonna have to tell that to my older brother now. You fucking ancient. You in your 70s.
Anyway.
But there was an agelessness to him, a beautiful eternal foreverness that shone from him like the light from a lighthouse or like the sunlight from the sun. He made me feel like a child again, and I wanted to stay in bed with him. My world, whirling by the waves that washed over us until the stars went out. That's what I expected anyway. That's what he promised. And now he's dead. His heart stopped.
Very poetic.
Margaret's eyes darted to Irene in expressive regard.
Yes!
She wasn't listening to a fucking word of that.
Can you blame her? Look at this.
That was a fucking Grumpos wall of text.
I mean, there was the he made me feel like a child again, which was...
Yeah.
That sentence made me moist for my identity.
Hey, that's how they did it in the 70s, Torpo, right?
Okay.
Back
What?
80 years ago in the 70s.
What am I supposed to do without him?
The unanswerable solidity of the question echoed in the space between
No,
them.
stolidity.
Stolidity.
Stolidity. Stolidity of the question.
Yeah,
There
stolidity.
was neither one works. and there was nothing Margaret could say that would make the other woman feel any better. As a nurse who had been taking care of people about to die, and who had died for longer than most people had guessed, she had spoken to her share of people mourning the death of their loved ones. What the fuck? She had earned a nationwide reputation for her bedside management. Gold medal talking to dying people.
Oh my fuck. Why?
She had earned a nationwide reputation for her bedside management, as she always knew what to say to make people take the deaths of those they cared for most for just another part of life that needed to be endured, and which would one day, I needed to breathe at the start, which would one day feel better.
Yeah, what
Okay,
the
hold on,
fuck?
I'm reading that again.
There was
I'm reading
not
that again, hold on.
There was not a single
No.
comma on this fucking 5-line trainer, Rick.
I'm starting again. She had earned a nationwide reputation for her bedside management, as she always knew what to say to make people take the deaths of those they cared for most for just another part of life that needed to be endured and which would be one day feel better. Yes. Doctors always asked Margaret to help when their patients died, but some
Doctors
deaths were not
always
like
ask-
other deaths.
They call me dead nurse.
Hey, nurse! He's dying! Get in here!
Just doctors always asked Margaret to help when they were fucking cowards.
But some deaths were not like other deaths. Some deaths were too much to be borne.
What?
Okay.
No,
Some
this
de-
is the
That's
thesaurus
Same.
chapter. Fuck me.
Some deaths hit those who were left behind like a bomb exploding in their houses, leaving just the rubble behind. Margaret did not know what to say to this spectacularly beautiful woman before her to make her feel better than the man. To make her feel better that the man she loved more than she loved life itself had been so cruelly taken from her. A tear formed at the corner of her own eye, the left. As she shook her head.
Beautiful. All right,
Thank you.
we go with the stage direction for the crime.
As she shook her head and said,
I don't know. Sometimes we lose the whole reason we're alive. Sometimes we have to go out and find a new reason. A reason not dictated by law, morality, or even sense. Some new person to love. Some new way to live. Some new purpose to make the night seems warmer. I think Henry was probably the kind of man who knew that if he ever died in a horrible car accident, leaving you behind, that you would find the courage to stand up and move on and climb out of this place where you are. He would not want you to be here now or ever. He would want you at the beach where you were at your best in the waves in bed.
I'm just glad she brought up the horrible car accident that killed Henry.
Yeah.
Also, is that supposed to be Margaret's voice? I forget at this point.
It is. She's the hello. Yeah, she's that one.
Okay.
I was trying to tone it down a little because it's a sentimental moment, though.
I am slowly losing track.
I'm glad.
I think that's the point of this book.
I'd say I lost the plot, but there wasn't one to begin with.
Exactly.
Yeah, at this point, these are just words.
What the fuck? Maybe Irene swigged her steaming latte in one scalding gulp.
No! I can't believe she's fucking dead.
Maybe what?
I remember one night, the best night for us. He took me to Rome where we stood in the light of the Eiffel Tower and watched people go by. There was one couple there who reminded us of us. There was another man Henry's age and another woman my age, and they were laughing together, just laughing. Hard, you know, the way people laugh when they really feel the joy of life. The two of them laughing till the tears came down the sides of their faces in great cascades, and I was a little worried that they would not be able to breathe. But Henry said, "Look at them, Irene. Just look at them. Look at her and look at him. Look at them. The very you know, it's not a she and a him, but a them. Two of them together in one unit, laughing. Here in the city of brotherly love." Wait a minute.
The city of brotherly love,
Brotherly love.
Paris.
Their laughs are going and they're going and they're going up and up and drowning out the traffic and the conversations of other tourists and the singing of the Christmas cajoler and even the other noises in the world. And there was a lot of laughing. And me remember Harry squeezing my hands till the bones hurt and saying, "You know, I laughed like that once many years ago when I was a boy and I don't even remember the joke anymore. But I was one who laughed that way again and sometimes when I take a good look at you, I think I have a chance.
Wait, what? What does that mean?
I don't know anything anymore.
I think you're real funny looking.
The city of brotherly love.
Paris.
No. Where the fuck is the end of that? There it is.
I don't fucking know where
And I
you
never
are
thought of it again,
anymore.
but he also said that night, you know, honey, I'm much older than you, and that means I'll be dead before you, and it will be worth dying even in a terrible car wreck.
He could see the future.
And it will be worth dying even in a terrible car wreck if that means that between now and the moment of that car wreck, we laugh at least once as hard as that couple walking by us now, though they were long past us by the time you got around. Though they were. What? Though they were long past us by the time you got around to saying that. He said, make me laugh like that again, Irene. And I said, surely, but you know, there was always the older man, younger woman thing. As much as I thought of him as some kind of god, me never once got to making him laughs.
Twisting her hair into a braid using the same figure she had been using
Wait,
before,
what?
she said,
Now I will have to live my entire life, however long that turns out to be, knowing that I never gave him what I wanted. I made him come, but never made him guffaw.
Also, I hate this one specific misspelling.
The sun broke through the clouds, that is its brilliant golden disk burning a hole through the great puffs of water vapor to send a shaft of golden light zigzagging down through the layers of atmosphere and warm the earth in a way that no sunlight since the beginning of time had ever warmed the earth before. Somewhere, a child was being born.
What?
Somewhere, a dog was barking.
Woof.
Life was going on, but in this one moment at this particular place in time and space. The two beautiful women, one twisting her hair into knots, the other sitting sideways, were not part of it. They were here only for each other and for the memory of a great man who had walked the earth like a rock in the sand. Okay.
Yeah, walking
Life
like a rock in the sand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the rock in the sand? Or?
No, a rock. A rock.
A-Rock. Okay. Life is like that sometimes, thought Margaret helplessly. Sometimes it's just an interruption in the day and not a part of it. The trick is knowing when it's day and when it's night, and the lightness or darkness has nothing to do with telling the difference between them. The death of a man like Henry Archer was definitely night, even if it took place at noon. It was like,
What?
it was like an eclipse of the world.
What the fuck does that mean? An eclipse of the Lord?
There must have
It's
been
like a total
people-
eclipse of the heart. Don't
There
you get
must
it?
have been There must have been people, even in distant primitive villages, who had felt the moment he breathed his last. They must have looked up at the night sky, or even the day sky, and said, "What was that?" meaning him. Irene lit a cigarette and blew out a huge cloud of smoke.
What am I going to do without him?
She wailed.
What?
Margaret had no answer except for the one she had already
Yeah, the answer is that we're like, yes, of course. How about it?
Maybe.
Yep. I think that's my favorite chapter so far.
I made him come, but I never made him go. That's the line of the book thus far, in my opinion.
With that said, you'll have to go back in time and read chapter 5.
I will.
Oh no, there's more new characters.
Yeah,
We don't know
part of it.
Richard and Callie. Holy shit.
Yeah, do new characters. Stop
It's
introducing
almost like
characters.
they are doing everything you should do wrong.
Yeah. Alright. Chapter 8. Richard studied the menu like a shark, savoring a school of fish, while the waiter impatiently tapped his fountain pen against his pad. Across the table, he felt Callie's eyes upon him, waiting for him to make up his minds. Yet his mind wasn't on lunch, but upon Callie. He could sense her own impatience with him, as if she was trying to decide whether she wanted to be dining with him at all, or whether she would be just as happy to be eating by herself. Okay, that's le menu, he said.
Yeah, about doing
Yeah,
finally.
please, and with the garlic mashed potatoes, and to salt, maybe the New England clam chowder. He briefly consulted the wine list. And perhaps a bottle of Riesling, please. 1999 vintage. Very good, sir. The young waiter, whose name tag said his name was Frederick, and who sported a Pinselton mustache, studiously jolted it all down, then turned to Callie. And for you, madame, may I recommend the calamari souffle? It's in the season.
Yes, I think so, she said stiffly.
Why?
And a chef's salad to start, but all the dressing, please.
She's a smoker.
As you wish, madame. Frederick clicked his pen, then moved off into the hustle and bustle of the restaurant. Le Bonhomie was busy today, busier than usual. Richard Haight here often, usually with other Peachtree Street brokers who he was trying to get info from about deals they were making. It was one of the best, most fashionable bistros in Atlanta, which is why he liked it so much. The service was superb, and the food was pretty good too. And so, Richard said as he unfolded his napkin and laid it daintily across his lap, how are you getting along now that Henry is gone? Kelly reached into her handbag, pulled out a compact. As well as would be expected, I suppose, she said, opening it to study her reflection
More
in its
demonic
mirror.
with every line.
Oh, I miss him so much, but... She sniffed, then closed it and tucked it back in the bag. Well, life must go on, you know. Life must go on. Yes, it does. She wore a black silk dress today, low-cut, better to expose the generous mound of her bosom. Kelly was a fine-looking woman, Richard had to admit, and the dress left little to his teeming imagination. Her nipples, like the silver dollars he used to collect when he was a kid, press against the fabric, arousing him. Yes, it does indeed. Life must move on. Kelly observed his interest. She pouted, looking like the Mona Lisa having a bad day.
Is there a reason
can
why
picture
you...
it.
Is there a reason why you asked me to come here, Richard?
Then she lowered her voice to a husky contralto.
Oh,
Or
did
should
you?
I call you Dick?
He caught her meaning, found his livid face
Yeah.
turning red. Well, he said, Richard would be just fine, Callie. I was just admiring your dress. From China, isn't it?
Yes,
She said.
from Hong Kong. Henry took me there many years ago from one of his boring up business trips. I loved the shops. I must have spent hours in them, buying things you can buy here in America. And he was very generous too. I think I must have maxed out an American Express Platinum card just on clothes and jewelry. Oh, what a trip it was.
I can imagine, Richard said. He wondered if the police would be interested in her purchases when she was abroad. What the fuck? What the...
Debit cards canceled.
He had little doubt that many of them had not been declared with U.S. custom, but a woman like her would have had much trouble dealing with lowly customs inspector. Now would she? She would have just smiled at her and winked and perhaps slipped $100 bill across the counter. Hence, a horny young custom inspector will have let the rich dame pass. Happens all the time. And it fits you well, too, he added. She glowed at him from across the table. You're not here
to ask me about my wardrobe,
Allie said.
What do you really have on your mind? Really?
Oh, you know. It's Richard Isaacs.
Oh, shit.
It's the old... Okay, it's the old pervert. Okay.
We'll stick with Bob Dylan voice. It was better than the one I was using for Waller.
No, you're using Mario, and it was
Yeah.
right.
Oh, that was Mario. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, you know. Richard Isaac crossed his legs casually, like a king sitting upon his throne and examining a peasant who has come to him in supplication. Is that what kings do?
Yeah.
Don't quote Alice in Wonderland to me, she quietly ceded. You're up to something, and I want to know what it is.
Oh, she was a tempestuous little wench, wasn't she? Henry Archer didn't deserve her. Hadn't deserved, he reminded himself. 20 years younger than he was, and manipulative as hell's own vixen. But she known how to spend his money, didn't she? But now Henry was gone, and hence she is... And then she had been left with his considerable fortune, along with his company, and Richard was interested in both. The company and the widow who controlled it, that is. Wait. What? Who's talking? Is that
Richard.
I'm wondering what you intend to do with Richard's company. Oh, wait, isn't that me? I don't know. He said, as the waiter returned with the first part of their meal. Do you intend to keep it, or is this in your intent to sell?
I think it was supposed to say Henry there, but they put Richard instead, because fuck it.
Yeah, I guess. She waited while the waiter, Frederick, placed her salad in front of her, then saved a generous portion of black pepper and Parmesan cheese on top of it. She glared at the plate. There's anchovy on this. She off. I cannot abide by anchovies. Remove it at once, please, and bring me another. Oui, madame. Anything to please. The waiter looked annoyed, but he disappeared with the plate and came back a second later with a fresh salad without anchovies. Satisfied, she speared a crouton with her silver fork and shoved it into her mouth. The waiter smirked with disdain, then carefully placed a bowl of New England clam chowder in front of Richard. It was hot and fragrant, just the way he liked it. He smiled and nodded. Bon appetit, Frederick said. Then he moved away to attend to his other customers. I haven't decided about the company yet, Callie drawled, chewing thoughtfully upon her food. I suppose I could sell it, but... She hesitated, daubing at the corner of her eyes with her napkin. Oh, what will Henry say if I sold a company he struggled so long and hard to build? I imagine he will want you to do what was best for you. Once again, Richard found himself examining her cleavage. So soft, so firm, like Florida cantaloupe, ripe for the picking. Fuck you, fucking asshole.
Just gotta pick the boob fruit.
Although she was young enough to be his own child, he found himself wondering what it might be to have her in bed, to run his hands through her silky black tresses, to knead and stroke and cajole her breasts into submission, to slip his hands between her thighs and explore the damp, warm secrets within. Henry Archer must have done this time and time again, when they were married, and Henry had been only a few years younger. And now, no, he couldn't. Once more, Richard found himself becoming aroused, and he fought to keep his mind on the immediate problem at arm. You could do this, he said, idly stirring the bowl of chowder. But the company stock, put on the open market now, could fetch quite a high price. Perhaps even 10 times as much as it's presently worth on the New York Exchange. You could be very rich. I'm already rich, Callie said, but there was a flash of avarice in her dark eyes, and they rose to meet his. 10 times as much, you say? Surely you jest. I'm not joking. Have you seen today's Wall Street Journal? The story about Henry's car crash had sent the prices through the ceiling? What? I don't think that's how stocks work.
Old man dies, everyone's fucking buying.
Yep. The Nasdaq itself is running wild. It's the talk of the town. Richard stared back at her. The time to sell is now, Callie, and I'd only be too pleased to help, if only you'd let me. Her breast heaved against the taut fabric of her black dress, and again his eyes fell to them. Yes, she would be grateful, and once she'd properly expressed her gratitude, perhaps his friends in the police department would be grateful to him. Henry's tragic car accident had been too convenient, too swift. Callie Archer had more secrets than what she had hidden beneath her Victoria's Secret lingerie, okay? Narrator, did you undress the character? And all he needed to do was to get at them, and he will be... A dark shadow falls across the table, and a new voice interrupted them. Pardon me, but is the seat taken? Richard jerked his head up, peered at the uninvited intruder. Bruce Lucent, the software developer, young, handsome, well known around Atlanta for the software develop. What was he doing here? I could help but over here, Bruce said, as if in answer of the unasked query. Kelly, I'm so sorry to hear about Henry's death. He meant so much to the rest of us. I know.
Jalo has gotten so much worse.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
I didn't know you doing well. Richard couldn't
What?
help but notice how Kelly's eye roved over him. Bruce was younger even than Kelly, yet even despite the auto accident he suffered, his body was lean and trim, with a youthful verve that Richard could barely remember. Please, have a seat, we just ordered. Why, thank you, I think I will. Bruce moved to the empty chair at the table, then snapped his fingers for the waiter. Garçon, a menu, please. Oui, at once, monsieur. And as the waiter hurried away to fetch a board for the unexpected interloper, Richard realized that the plot had thickened indeed.
Damn straight it had. Fuck, what voice did I give Oh, the Princess Daisy voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Herbin.
Or wait. No, I never had Penelope in one. What was your voice for?
I forgot.
Okay.
I don't think she
No,
appeared
Penelope was
ever
the
since
second chapter.
chapter 4.
Was Penelope in the second chapter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
She
voice
was
did I
one of-
fucking give her then?
Do a new one!
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, whatever.
I mean, Richard Isaac is now Bob Dylan, so hey, Penelope Urban
It's
can
true.
just be...
Penelope Urban let out the clutch as she sped around the curb. She felt a thrill, partly from the roaring engine, from the speed of the car. She was moving fast, too fast on the suburban street, and she liked the street too much. Partly, no, mostly it was the thrill of anticipation. She was going to meet Bruce Lucent, and she was eager to see him. She could not have said why she wanted him so badly, but she did. Wanted to see him. That's all it was. She was curious. Maybe more than curious. Eager, but not too eager. There, that was his home. That was where she meant to be. She hit the brakes hard, skidded to a stop in front of his home. He was in the doorway, waiting for her. "Penny," he said, "I've been waiting for you." There was a hint of suggestion in his smile, something that whispered to her dreams. She embraced him, whispering his name. Bruce! She whispered.
Perfect. All right.
Felt the chill at the turgid warmth of his body. He kissed her so lightly. He wanted her. She could feel it in his lips. She wanted him too, but not so easily. Not here. Not now. She thrilled at that thought. Here. Now. No. Dinner! She said. Where will we go? "I've got reservations for us at the Le Moulin. Bruce said. Fucking French.
Le Moulin de la Galette.
Yeah. Penelope Urbain knew the place. It was French, continental, lit by candles, elegant and intimate. She'd gone there once, alone. He stopped to Frankfurt by a window in the back. They looked over the moonlit garden. "That'd be nice," she said. "I like the way you think, Bruce Lucent." Bruce took a remote control from his pocket, pointed it at the garage. An engine roared to life as the... What?
Hold on a minute. Did he live in a high tower apartment building?
He also has a garage.
No, this is back in time, I'm pretty sure.
I guess.
How the fuck are you pulling that out?
Because early on in the chapter, it made it sound like they didn't really know each other that much.
Maybe, I don't. Actually, yeah, I guess that's true. I fucking whatever.
It's dumb. It's bad. It's intentionally bad.
Yeah.
It's ready when... See, that's why the voice changed. This is what her voice used to sound like. "It's ready when we are," said Bruce. He smiled. Is that him or Penelope saying this?
Yeah, I don't know. Do whatever.
Writing should be... I'm always ready if you are. In writing, that should still be him, but I don't fucking know in this.
Yeah.
There are moments when life, like a bad movie, gives us theme music. The good stuff is quiet. Maybe that guy. Rachmaninoff?
Wait, I thought that was not his name.
Rachmaninoff? Torpo?
No, I'm letting you guys do this. This is too fun.
Fuck him. Played softly in the background. Bach or Beethoven in the classy films, it's one of those. Or maybe
Fucking
Mozart.
softball that shit.
Bruce Lucent's life wasn't like that. More like popcorn. That's the song you pick?
Alright, hold on a bit. If we are to be fucking drowning this entire thing is shit, I think I have the perfect song for the occasion.
Is it popcorn?
Yes.
I hope so.
I just need to figure out where the
I'm
hell
waiting.
it was. Unfortunately, you're not gonna hear it, but yeah, just trust me, it's there. That's the soundtrack to Bruce Lucent's life.
But I can hear it. Oh, so beautiful.
The soundtrack of Bruce Lucent.
I'm just listening to this now. Okay, I looked it up. I was pronouncing it right. Rachmaninoff.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anyway.
Alright. Enough popcorn
So,
for today.
more like popcorn. The electronic pop version. Quick, zippy, headed straight toward a climax. In the end, well, it's a little flat. Too much air, too little substance. It just ain't Beethoven, you know what I mean? But it's something. And we all can't be Beethoven. There isn't
Where are
enough
they-
talent enough in the world for that.
Where are they going with this?
I don't fucking know.
Penelope nestled into the crook of Bruce's arm. It didn't matter to her that the music was popcorn. For her, it was Wagner and Valkyrie's all the way. What the fuck? I love your lustrous hair, he whispered. I love red hair, real red. It's so beautiful. Only her hairdresser knew for sure, and it had been years since he'd confided in Penelope. She didn't know what color she'd have without him, and shuddered at the thought.
You're a sweet man!
She said.
I love your passion!
Bruce grinned. You make me rapturously happy, he said. Penelope Urbane felt a chill that thrilled her.
Me too!
She said. He raised an eyebrow.
I mean, you make me feel so happy too! Rapturously hormonal! Yeah, that's the word for it, rapturous!
She could feel his firm, studly body under her left hand. He was smiling at her. He looked hungry. I was in an auto accident once, he said. The doctors told me I'd never walk again, but they were wrong. She smiled, nestling into the crook of his arm.
Of course they were!
She said.
How did you recover?
I lived my dream, he said. I didn't let that innate thing dissuade me. She pressed her voluptuous body against him. He was pulling into the restaurant's garage, turning, downshifting, jamming the brake. They were there, parked. The valet came to her door. If they're already parked, was the valet came to her door, helped her from her seat. Bruce gave the man his keys and a 20. The man smiled knowingly. Bruce took her arm and led her to the door, where they waited a long moment for the maitre d'.
I just realized the chat got angry with me about my opinion earlier. Fucking calling my ass out.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not everyone can be Beethoven.
Beethoven.
You're in software!
She said. Bruce smiled. I'm a software developer, he said. Well-to-do. About 20. I have a studly body, don't you think?
Yeah, we
She
traveled back in time.
He called himself well-to-do.
No, he said he had a studly body too. Like that's
Also that, but that doesn't seem out of character for him, though. She looked him up and down. It was indeed the finest body that money could buy. She smiled.
If I tell you you have a sexy body,
She said,
would you hold it against me?
He put an arm around her, pulled her close. You know I would, he said.
never do that.
She
ever
purred.
again.
I like that!
She said.
I like it that it's such a kind of a part of the city!
Bruce whispered in her ear. It is. Is this still Bruce talking?
No, it's supposed to be Penelope.
Okay.
And that is a great place for an enthusiastic would-be novelist to write about! The Atlanta Journal-Constitution is the first paper. CNN's headquarters right in Atlanta!
Oh, Penelope,
Alfred!
I'm Bruce. My name is Bruce, beautiful. Dinner was amazing. Brad or Bruce or whatever the stud muffin's name was ordered the eponymous specialty of the house. Les Moulins de la Galette. They
The
call it
last
food that
gallets.
sings. Gallets.
What the?
They call it the food that sings. And it sang for them before it was prepared. They drank before dinner. Bruce ordered, quietly speaking to the waiter.
Doreen, s'il vous plaît. Double fort.
I don't know why I screeched that loud. Double fort! With dinner, there was a magnum of champagne, and after dinner, there was coffee and brandy. Penelope felt her head swim as she rested it at the crook of Bruce's arm. It was an amazing meal, an experience she would always treasure. She wanted him so bad, and there, in the quiet that was the candlelit restaurant, he touched her. She didn't resist. He wanted her, and she wanted him too. All right.
Okay, that was it.
That was it.
Yep.
Okay, so somehow we went back in time for no reason with this 3-page.
Yeah, you
paragraph.
just realized that nothing matters.
Yeah. The elegant Polo Club walls were adorned with.
What happened to my audio quality?
No, that's because earlier you were talking too close to your mic.
Also, y'all take a second to appreciate what page we're on.
Yep, page 59.
Out of 287.
Yep.
Wait till we're at 69.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait 10
Yeah.
pages, but I'll probably be gone by then.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we're probably gonna call it at page 69 or whatever chapter will end by then.
Yeah.
Alright, chapter 10. The elegant Polo Club walls were adorned with a great plenitude of exquisite paintings, depicting a tremendous multitude of beautiful scenes with still lives of flower, horses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, horses.
Alright.
Hello.
I mean, I heard about still lives of flower, but horses, yeah.
I mean,
It's a
polo.
dead horse. Yeah.
Yeah, sailing boats and landscapes. They all from all sorts of great painters, and they had one every few feet. Their frames are gold gilt and filmed with curlicues and fancy carving.
Fancy.
The floors were polished white marble. What? Wait. Wasn't that Bruce's apartment that was this way? The floors were polished white marble with veins of
Possibly.
luminous color running through them, and you can see her countenance in them because they polished every morning. A commodious, confident cloakroom was standing discreetly behind the double door for coats, but was empty on this lovely, gorgeous, beautiful morning. There was an elegant, gracious, wide stairway to the second floor that had gilt on the black iron railing. It was orthogonal and it curved around it. The carpet was bright, vivid, glorious red. The French windows in the vestibule were open to the patio, and the sound of tennis games came in, and the scintillating, witty, sparkling chatter from the black wrought iron table and chairs, with all their twisting, twining, singulated vines in their arms and legs there, where lunch was being served and the smell of the food came in too. There was a guest book on a table in the center of the vestibule, open to all the disguised names. There was a flower pot of Vedgewood china, blue and white, set behind it, filled with a colorful fragment, team profusion and arrangement of sweet scent and multicolored flowers. Their vivid color contrasted with the stark, plain, severe starkness of the unadorned walls. The Atlanta Polo Club was an old and respected and very venereal institution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, why are we introducing this place when it's been like in fucking 5 chapters already?
Didn't they mention it at one point, like 8 chapters ago?
Yeah, it had been founded more than 2 centuries ago and was members from all the most respectable, notable, and antique families in the area. When Sherman came marching through Georgia, they had saved a few things from the whole Polo Club, and the noble and distinguishable members were very proud of their traction. They, gads, been very poor after the war, but no presumptuous, odious, vile carpetbagger or scallywags had been permitted to scornfully, contemptuously darken the doors of the Polo Club.
They had carefully rebuilt it to dark oak paneling and the lead frame windows that were there now. They had spared no expense. They had played polo with cavalry horse wrought carefully back from the war by young, handsome, honorable cavalry officers of immemorial memory from the war. Fuck off! God damn it!
It's a
What's
history.
the point?
It's a history.
They were very, very proud of their disgusted memory and extended ancestry. They had antique cavalry swords crossed over every marble fireplace. Many people tried to join it and couldn't. It was very exclusive. Some of the Hage members don't want anyone at all from the north to join, but there were other members who were retrogressive and onward thinking, and they managed to ease folks about those members, as long as they stood docility and listed resentfully when the members talked prolixly about the Novel War. Some of their new members were very good polo players, and they had industriously managed to won many difficult games. Hiren Stevens started
Hey, here
to
she is
hurriedly
again.
walk into the polo club. She had long blonde hair and a voluptuous body. She was about 20. She was dressing in an expensive designer's cerulean gown and not a bit of jewelry. Her beauty needed no jewelry. She tried and signed the guest book. She had come there from her hotel, where she had checked out that morning. She had driven there down the tortuous roads by all the Civil War monuments and past the pastures where they get the polo horses. They were all thoroughbreds, very beautiful.
Yep.
Fucking God, what's the point of this chapter?
We
That's
need to
the
know all this.
joke!
I know, but it's a
Literally
painful
the
joke.
joke.
This is clearly where the final standoff happens at the end of the book.
I guess. There had been flowers all along the way. Roses and tulips and aster and crocuses and lilies and magnolias. She had managed to park her vehicle in the newest parking lot, but she had been compelled to park it where the ferocious sunlight will infernally heat it up while she was leisurely enjoying the polo club. The soaring oak tree and maple trees had gloomily, dismally shaded the parking lot. Elegantly, she walked up the stairs. The gown swished mysteriously about her legs. The sparkling mirror in the stairway considerably let her prudentially endeavor to carefully check her hair and jewelry that she did not have, by the way.
You say that!
The artificial, incandescent light did not become her. It unflatteringly made her verdant dress and gold necklace look ghastly unbecoming, but nothing could, in its worst effort, made her look less than marvelously stunning. Could really detract from her gorgeous beauty and loveliness, and she hurriedly took arctic comfort and consolation in that.
Arctic comfort.
Yep. Fire and ice!
Fire and ice.
She urgently meandered down the marmoreal hallway to the opulent, exotic, expansive bar. It was very, very crowded and odorously noisy. All the men instantly stopped and ardently looked at her. She wearisomely sighed. She was getting very tired of the way all the men instantly stopped and ardently looked at her voluptuous body and long blonde hair and her vermilion dress and her gold watch with the diamonds. Especially... go ahead.
I do appreciate that the color of her dress keeps changing.
Yep. Especially when they were such tiresome, stuffy old businessmen and none of them could adequately, competently, sufficiently play tennis. Let alone anything more private. What?
Fucking.
Notice all the colors of her dress are all
Yeah,
Pokemon.
going from tennis to fucking, hell yeah. That's my kind of novel. And all the women catly looked at her with sniffy expression when they were foolish, wearing too much makeup and revolting, unsightly jewelry. She can be already heard the snide gossip began to perambulate its gossipy peregrinations about the ostentatiously crowded bar. What the
God, this chapter is like my favorite.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
That's the point. Literally nothing's happening.
It's like this is a very modern novel here. Swiftly, she sveltly walks up to the bar and smoothly orders a Bloody Mary. The bartender sagaciously nod.
Sagaciously, but yes,
Yeah.
I like that.
Close enough.
He competently takes a crystal glass. He swiftly gets the cold ice and puts it in the empty glass. Consequently, he gets the imported foreign vodka and put it in the glass with the red opaque tomato juice. He sticks a fair wedge of easy lemon on the edge of it and promptly gives her a hit. But wait, there's not even like the whatever you call the stick of grass you put into the thing.
Celery?
Yeah. She comes.
No, it's a really shitty Bloody Mary.
Yep. She comfortably sat back in her opulent, luxurious chair and leisurely sigh. Yeah, what is a leisurely sigh anyway? Ah.
It's that really relaxing sigh when you first sit down after work.
This was the right thing. After a long, wearisome, odious burdens and troubles of
Odious.
an appalling day like that.
Adonis.
Odonius.
Odious. Whoops. Whoops.
No, that's what it is. I don't know what torpor
No,
is
it's
like.
fine.
She toyed with her pearls. The
Yeah, she's
comfortable-
got pearls now.
Yep.
Yeah.
The comfortable chair was brown leather and very nice. She liked it. And she was here in the bar. Alone.
Very nice is a good descriptor.
It was nice. No one will talk here. She carefully tried and smoothed out the skirt of her sallow dress. She fortuitously remembered Henry Archer. She managed to shiver in memory. No wonder no one was looking attentive anymore next to him. She sips her martini. That was when Stephen Suffern saw her. Stephen was a well-built and well-hung young messrs at the Polo Club. He had an eye for the ladies, but bets for both teams. His eye narrowed when he saw her. Iron Stevens. Here, alone. There was no one around. No one will come to the Polo Club on such a dreary, wet day, especially so entirely early in the morning.
You did.
Thunder cracked thunderously overhead. There was a loud, voluminous drumming and thumping of precipitous and abundant rain. He walked toward here, slowly, took each step in leisure, contemplating Irina with gimlet eyes, taking in that voracious figure and the elongated blonde hair, the carroty dress, the ruby band. He wanted to linger to savor the moment, to pounce at once. She leisurely drank from her gin and tonic again. God, I love this chapter. It's like her dress changes, her drink changes.
Her name changes.
Yes,
My favorite part was when it went to a sallow dress, like it turned puke yellow at one point.
I really enjoyed
All the other
discussing the history of the Polo Club at length.
I fucking love this book.
And now we have these very short bits right here.
Yep. Arena, he pontificate. You are the daughter of Isaac Stevens. I will reveal your dark secret to your father unless you allow me to have my way with you.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was looking forward to this part after reading it.
But do you remember Irene's voice?
No, I don't.
Well,
Yeah,
have
this
fun!
one.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was her who had the very sentimental monologue about laughing. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. That was her.
No, exclaimed she, horror struck. Yes, grated he harshly. You will not, expostulated she. I will reveal your dark secret, exclaimed he. I will not allow you to have your way with me, she wowed. You will, he averted. No, you won't reveal my dark secret, threatened she numbly. My father will never believe you. I will, and he will, exhorted her. Wait, what? Oh no. Alright. Oh my fuck. This is so confusing.
No, that's the point.
I
They
know.
fucked up.
They just have 2 lines of dialogue in a
Yeah.
row.
Yeah.
I will, and he will, exerted her.
You won't, and he won't, claimed he. I will, and he will, remonstrated he.
You won't,
Explained she in an exploratory tone of voice.
My father will be very, very, very furious with you. He will certainly blame you.
I will, and he won't, demonstrated he contemptuously.
You won't and he will.
Proclaimed
What
her,
is
definitely.
This fucking rabbit season.
Yeah.
season
I will, and he
thing.
won't, declared he defiantly.
You won't.
Denounced her angrily.
I already told him last Tuesday.
What?
It
Wait,
wasn't-
what?
Well,
It was as if a copious galleon of wintry water has been surreptitiously poured over his handsome head.
why would that be how you poured the water?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Surreptitiously.
surreptitiously, yeah.
Blah.
Ensemble.
I like
Yeah.
how that's what gets you, not that handsome is spelled wrong.
Well, I mean, I noticed that. It's just, it's way easier to say handsome than
Surreptitiously.
He sat stonily and goggled explicitly and gaped impassively as if he were a fish precipitously extracted from its appropriately aqueous environment.
This is so good.
This chapter is so fucking good. Holy shit. He boisterously, wordlessly, softly sputtered like a boiling tea kettle. He stolidly sat like an ancient, most overgrown statue from the radiantly fragrant garden that the noble city was plenteously, bountifully endowed with.
Yep.
She contentiously got up and stylishly walked away, her amethystine dress swirling about her ankle, fondly remembering his exquisite, superb physique and form of his well-proportionate muscled body. She dazzledly walked down the polished wood of the stairway and out of the polo club, and up the hill and under the oaks and over to her vehicle.
God, this chapter is so good.
Yeah, chapter 10 definitely. Yeah,
Well-
I'm getting at verb poisoning. It's like
11 will get us to 69. You want to
yeah,
do one more?
yeah. This is the
Yeah, I
last
guess
chapter.
the 69 and
Yeah,
end at
this is gonna be
72,
the
so-
last chapter of the night.
Okay. Okay, so we've got Bruce and Callie here. What was Callie's voice?
I don't
Did you make it
remember.
was like
Oh yeah,
fucking
oh yeah,
Batman?
oh
Like, that's
yeah.
what you-
I made Callie just sound like the ghouls from Fallout.
Okay. The nightclub was the Blue Velvet. It was noisy and hot, and Callie was thinking how the sweat made her look hot. The heat of the Atlanta last night made it even hotter inside. Bruce didn't like the Blue Velvet because it was full of old people who thought it was still a cool place, only it wasn't anymore. He did-
It's a really good sentence.
he did think Callie looked hot. Hey, do you want to dance? He said. Sure. Bruce wasn't hot and thought if he hired Callie out, he might get a better deal on the merging companies. Callie thinks Bruce is studly looking, and she liked to dance anyway, so she said yes. They danced for a long time until she said she was tired and could they sit down at the table. Now she felt really tired, but was sure the sweat made her look really hot to Bruce. She smoothed her glossy black tresses.
You didn't put any drugs in the street, did you?
She said. She thought Bruce might try and take advantage of her to get a better deal on the merger. Speaking of the merger, Bruce asked, what did you want to do about that? He asked to shout over the noise of the band. The band was a retro 80s punk rock band. They were a local group and looked like high school boys. Callie thought one of them looked pretty hunky, but not as hunky as Bruce.
I think it's a good idea.
She whispered.
What couple's a million?
Bruce decided he should think about it and said, I'm going to have to think about it.
Did you want more?
Well, sure, of course I want more. Why would I want less? He really thought he could get a lot more. He wasn't thinking just about that one kind of merger either.
Eh? Wink.
It's pretty warm in here. Maybe we can go somewhere quieter and talk about the details.
What kind of details?
Like who'll run the merch company for one thing.
I thought if that I would, and you'd be my second in command.
I think we'll have to talk about that. But I think we should dance some more right now.
They danced for a long time. While they were dancing, Bruce asked Callie about her husband. Did you wear him out dancing like this?
You would like dance so much until he had a heart attack or something?
Yeah.
No.
Bruce laughed. I almost died once. Good segue.
Yeah. I think Bruce might be quite the narcissist here.
I heard about that. Did a lot of research on you before I agreed our companies to merge.
It was a car crash.
You seem pretty well recovered.
I have some pretty nasty scars, though. I was 16 and the car ran into a pole.
I have to see him sometime.
Wait, what about the other
Yeah,
car crash?
I don't know. Or was that the only car crash and everything else was actually...
No,
that was
I
a
get-
flash
no,
forward, actually.
No, I guess you had
And the
one
other
car
one was an
crash.
even farther flashback.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
This is
the
really
word
good.
car accident.
She spills her drink all over him.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I guess we have to go now.
No, it's okay. I could dry it off with these napkins. He wiped at his shirt. He was starting to get hot, and it kind of made he feels cooler in a way. Besides, he wasn't ready to talk about the details of the merger yet. He wanted to make sure Callie was more tireder first. See that all dry? He said. By the way, I think it's pretty cool what your company does. Transatlantic shipping is pretty interesting. Yeah, fuck you, Bruce.
Also, by the way, now we're finally at page 69.
Final. Yeah, wait, who's...
No, that's Cal.
Yes, it will be good to be merged with your software company. I know you make a lot of money with your internet multi-level marketing software.
Wait, he literally runs a fucking pyramid scheme.
Yes?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay.
he makes a lot of money.
I mean, yeah, but still, Jesus Christ.
What do you make for all these people? Sending you money, and for my shipping, we'll be able to take trips all over the world all the time.
Besides, she thought he was pretty studly, and if it didn't work out after a while, they could unmerge their companies too. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
No, that isn't.
You do not unmerge your company. T-Mobile can't be like, actually, you know what? Fuck you, Sprint. Get the fuck out of here.
Also, yes, a shipping company merging with software totally makes sense.
It's a multi-level marketing company. It's not
Like,
even real.
Which,
Like, when was
which
that
is a
written
fucking
again?
pyramid scheme.
Oh yeah, by the way, that was written in 2005 too, so hey.
You're older than a lot of the women I talked to, he said, and he meant it.
My husband said the opposite thing when he was alive. He said I was younger than the people of his age. But I learned a lot from him about running business. Nobody thought I could run it after I died, but I showed them.
Bruce thinks she has a pretty good body for someone her age. She was probably the same age as his mother, only his mother wasn't very good looking, like Callie.
I'm sorry.
She had a voluptuous body, even if it wasn't twice
Like
as old
my
as I.
mom.
Page 69.
Well, it's getting late, isn't it? Do you think we should stop dancing now and talk about business?
She really wanted to get the big deal finished tonight and not have to involve all the lawyers. I don't know. Bruce wasn't sure if she was tired enough. Since she was older, she was probably wiser. Even though he was well-to-do himself from his software company, she was twice his age and had probably learned a lot more about business than he did, so he has to be careful of any tricks she might pull. Are you pretty tired? We could go back to my place.
Pretty hot in here,
she said. Then let's have another drink. Since you spilled that one before, you didn't get to finish it.
Okay, but just one more.
Could we have another drink? Bruce asked the bartender. She was pretty hot too, and more Bruce's type since she was younger. Bruce liked her red hair. Callie's hair was black, which was okay with Bruce, but he liked red better. The bartender was maybe exactly 22. Maybe.
Maybe
Possible.
exactly.
It's possible. He knew she had to be more than 21 to serve. He thought he should order more drinks just to have her come over to where they were sitting at the bar. Here you are. Thanks. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Callie said too. And you're welcome too. I'm not giving her a fucking voice. Bruce liked the way the bartender said "you're welcome," but he was here with Callie, and he thought he should pay attention to her instead.
Her really
They were here to
sexy
talk
voice.
Yep.
They were here to talk about the merger was another reason.
We can merge our offices together too.
That might be nice. Callie didn't like her office all that well. It was on the top floor of the Nations Bank building in downtown. That's being the tallest building in Atlanta. The view was good, but she didn't like how long it took to get up in the elevator every time.
I don't really like my office,
she said. Well, then we can all use my office. His office was back in California. What? His office was back in California and had a lot of plants in it. Bruce thought it was cool that they hired someone to come in with a tank of water to water the plants since they were real and not fake. It didn't look out over the city or anything, but he didn't know what kind of view Callie's office had anyway, so it didn't matter.
When we go back to your place to talk about the merger, you can show me your scars. I bet you have impressive scars.
From the car crash. Yes, they are impressive. He sipped his beer. I could show you here, but I'd have to take off my shirt, and I don't think they allow that here. He smiled. Callie smiled too. She wanted to make sure she didn't get too drunk, so she finished this one, which was a scotch, and ordered a beer. You don't get as drunk from a beer. She also drinks pretty good anyway, because she learned to drink scotches from her husband, who had been a heavy drinker. It was too bad Bruce was playing hard to get about the merger. He was wondering if she had had enough to drink yet so he could get a good deal. She was thinking they were having one of those awkward silent times in a conversation, and she should say something.
If we did merge, what will that do to the depreciation, you think?
Bruce didn't know anything about depreciation, was now getting worried. You're not thinking of backing out, are you?
No, I don't think so.
The depreciation thing is worrying you, I think.
It's always a worry, isn't it?
Well, it's different than shipping than on software, I'm pretty sure.
We'll make a lot of money if we merge, though. We both know that.
Bruce stretched. She thought she could see the outline of his scars under his tight black shirt that was the same color as her hair. He was afraid he might be getting tired, and it was probably a good time to move things along. Merging their companies was going to be a good idea no matter what the objections, and he told her, I think merging will be a good idea no matter what, don't you? He was a little worried about driving because he'd had his car crash at night like this, and it was when he was maybe a little drunk, so he was hoping he could drive okay. Jesus Christ. They would really make a lot of money if they merged. He had done a lot of mergers, and this was going good. His accountant would be really happy with this merger. Do you want to have another glass of wine, or do you think we should go somewhere quieter? I can hardly hear you in here. She could hardly hear him either. So they went back to his place and hammered out the details of the merger and signed the papers. Then that's it. We're all merged. She toasted him with the champagne glass. That wasn't all that got merged that night. They had wild sex.
What a good. Lots of fucking.
That's when we end this.
Terrible book. They had wild sex.
Yeah, they had wild sex.
I'm also glad they hammered out these official documents without any lawyers.
Yeah, that's right. You just need two people for a merger. Nobody else.
Just go into a back room somewhere and then just sign a piece of paper and it's like, merger.
Got the murder.
Especially for a company on the fucking NASDAQ.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you everybody for
All right.
Maybe.
Right.
I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, thank you very much for that.
Beautiful book.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That was Atlanta Night. You know where to go if you want to read it. Just check out the Wikipedia article. There's the full article there. I mean, the full transcript.
There's also a full article.
Yeah, I guess. There's a full article, and there's full of fucking... So,
They could just stop to fucking.
yep. Yeah.
Chapter 10 was a gift, though.
Oh yeah, chapter 10 was amazing. Alright, so anyway,
Oh, Lord.
thank you very much for coming along to the stream. Thank you to Use Worm and Torpid Typist for being here alongside. And now let's see who is actually streaming. Oh, alright, I see Other Blues is currently doing some... Oh, Money's Beach speedruns. Alright, perfect.
Cool.
So... I think like that is the perfect segue. Now we're going from
Yep.
a raunchy novel about all the wild sex to you trying to rescue your girlfriend whose clothes are just rotting off her body.
Uh-huh.
So thank you everybody and see you next time.
Wasn't the only thing they merged that night.
They had wild sex.
They did.
Wild sex!